I'm Oscar.
And I'm Sophie.
And welcome to Heel Pictures. This is Heelcast episode 22. And
which is quite apt, really, because it's your birthday next week and you will be, how old?
55. I'll be 22.
He's lying, he's 22.
I'll be 22.
Well, he's coming up 22.
I'll be 22. June. What am I on about? June 21st, 2017. I have mentioned my birthday in previous videos before.
And do you want to tell the lovely viewers at home what we're going to be doing, potentially?
We're going to talk about whatever.
I meant for your birthday, but okay.
Oh, I thought you meant for the podcast, but I want to get in the podcast anyway. Like, just say what this is, really, and then we can get back to my birthday conversation, if you want my birthday conversation to be talked about. This one, we did, I had 3 topics only in mind for this podcast, oddly enough, and those 3 topics, I may as well just say right off the bat.
Yeah, may as well.
We were going to discuss Wonder Woman in spoilers.
Yep.
Because we saw it last week.
Yeah. Was it last week?
2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was a week ago. It was last
Friday.
Wednesday.
And yes, it was.
Because it was the general election the day after.
That could be a discussion if we wanted it to be.
Depends how political you want to get.
We can get it. We can talk about whatever we want, really.
We're adults here.
And we can discuss Wonder Woman. I wanted to bring forth the discussion because I showed you this match as well.
Yeah.
The discussion of the second match between Kazuchika Okada and Kenny Omega, which happened.
I mean, I'm a bit of a novice to Japanese wrestling.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I might let you lead on that one. But I'm willing to contribute.
But I was interested in just how you thought about it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Because you watched the first one.
Yeah, I remember. I only vaguely remember the first one, if I'm being perfectly honest.
I remember you looking back and forth, and I remember you just thinking to yourself, "This is long."
Yeah, not in a bad way, though.
Yeah.
It wasn't long in a bad way.
But that match, and kind of what news is broken about that, with Dave Meltzer rating it 6.25
I think
stars
that's
out of 5.
the thing that, like, because obviously you were explaining to me some of the issues surrounding that in terms of, like, people criticising that, so you know more about that than I do.
Yeah, well, I was just more interested in talking about the match itself as
Yeah.
opposed to the star ratings, because star ratings are very subjective. That's like if I just sat around and we just had to discuss the tomato meter on Rotten Tomatoes. I sound really dodgy.
A little interesting thing about that there. When the kind of backtracking that to the general election.
Let me just finish this one bit, and then we'll get on that. Because I was just going to say, we were going to have those topics, but what's happened today, we were going to hit record, and we're going to have this whole topic situation. But what happened was, Sophie, you didn't necessarily have an issue. You just said that you basically felt like the past 2 podcasts, at least, especially the last one, was a bit too formal, I guess you would say.
It was a little bit, yeah.
It had too much of a format, as opposed to just a free-range discussion between us.
Yeah, because I always found, like, previously, kind of, we've always had, not always, I'll give it that, because when there's been more of us involved in the podcast, we might not necessarily have gone into it with specific kind of topics, but we've always kind of had a basic outline of what we were going to talk about, and we've kind of, like, talked about it, and then we just sort of winged it from there. There's never been like that. Whereas I think it kind of started because obviously we did a lot of podcasts about series of movies, and because there was a lot to fit in.
Do you mean, are you on about the Alien?
Yeah, because there was a lot to fit in. Obviously, we had to kind of structure it quite a lot.
Well, the reason why we also did that in a podcast format was because we did do a Fast and Furious discussion video.
Yeah. Which,
like the whole franchise, which took me 75 hours to upload the bloody thing.
Yeah, that was
because that was just video, so it was just easier. And we want to do an Alien one.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think that was a better podcast, in all honesty. Yeah. I think it was a good one. But I'd kind of, obviously with that one, there was a lot of structuring necessary in order to fit in every movie and kind of everything we wanted to talk about without it getting onto like a 3-hour
it wasn't
discussion.
I mean, I would have been fine uploading like a massively long podcast. It was more so the time that we were doing it.
Yeah.
I think it was approaching midnight when we
We
just
started off
finished it.
quite early, and it kind of got
I mean,
late.
I'm looking at the YouTube channel right now, and I believe that is the longest podcast we've ever done anyway, at 2 hours and 14 minutes.
Yeah, that's a long one.
Yeah.
Well, I think we started at around like just after 10, and it approached midnight, if not later.
Well, it passed midnight. It
was past midnight, yeah. So we kind of decided that, but like obviously as well, I sort of get the thing that, but it's whether people sort of will sit around for like a 3 to 5 hour podcast.
Well, that's also why I include the time codes and things as well. It'd be like skip around.
Yeah, so it's kind
which
of
I'm not sure if there would be time codes in this. Possibly not, since
we'll see. But it's kind of
the point.
The point being was kind of like I wanted to kind of get back that thing of just having like topics that we could talk about freely and kind of just let the conversation flow more naturally rather than thinking, well, how are we going to link this topic to this topic and how are we going to link that topic to that topic?
Because one of my favourite podcasts that we did on the channel was when it was me, you and Will.
Yeah.
And we did a general chit chat. And I remember literally just starting the podcast, introducing it, and I went, and I simply said, I'm not leading this one. Will's got an idea. Will, go ahead. And then he went, I got some questions on Tumblr or whatever like that. And then we went through video game and film ones, and just spawned off that type of thing.
Yeah.
And now I don't know what I'm going to name this Heelcast now. We'll see what topics we discuss. But the basic gist of this one, I'm going to let you just dictate the beginning of this. I'll put it that way. But yeah.
Fair enough. So, like, to start off with, something that I kind of want to talk about is obviously the fact that we now have episode 2 finally uploaded of VHS Pirates 2.
Season 2.
Which is actually not giving much away, but it's on schedule for what we were kind of hoping for.
Well, I think we discussed it in the podcast was it the last one? Yes, it would have been the last one.
The last podcast was a blur.
Episode 21.
Yeah.
We did discuss that at the start about how episode 1's out, and we did say that we were going to have like... The aim was to maybe have it a monthly release. Yeah. And so far, that's been a success. Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're only into episode 2 now, but it's still... We're almost halfway. We're early days, and we're still in schedule, and everything's kind of... I don't want to jinx it, so I'm going to touch I'm touching the table, which is wood. Yeah. Because, touch wood, everything's going to go smoothly from now on. Yeah. With that, I don't want to jinx anything, but up to now, everything's going well. Yeah, up to now, everything's been fine. So that's uploaded. That was kind of before, obviously, the Jake's character got sort of played around. Are we talking spoilers with this? Well, I'm assuming if people are talking about episode 2, then... Well, we're dating this podcast we're really dating this podcast. Episode 2 literally got uploaded a day. Yeah. So, whenever this podcast will come out, that's the dating right there. So, if any nice comments have been sent, I haven't seen them because there is none. And if there's been any bad comments, then I haven't seen them because there is none at the moment. There's no comments at all that we're aware of. I'm looking at the thumbnail right now on the YouTube channel. It's got 14 views and it's been uploaded 2 hours ago, which isn't actually too bad. Yeah, so we can't really comment on any response that we've had to it. No. But it's... But if you haven't seen it, check it out, please. Yeah, it was an episode that we thought was going to be one of the longer ones, I think. Which it is. Whether it's the longest one in the series yet, I'm not sure. We don't know how episode 5's turned out, but I assume this one might still be the longest. Yeah. In all honesty, considering what we're talking about with episode 5 in terms of... We're not rewriting it, we're just trimming it down and we're just, reforming it, in a sense. So, obviously this whole thing's been quite challenging along the way, just getting it done. Yeah. But would you say... How challenging was it getting that edited and getting that episode finished? Oh, that wasn't that challenging, actually. It was more challenging. Because I remember you saying you were quite tentative going into it because you weren't sure how challenging the editing was going to be. It helped a lot that I already had edited that one to completion before. Yeah. Because for people who are unaware of what happened with this, all the editing that I had already progressed on just decided they didn't want to work anymore, which I don't know what, the files didn't corrupt or anything, so which I'm thankful for, and just I don't know what happened. I think iMovie might have had a fit, but I don't necessarily blame Apple on that. It just I don't know what happened. It just something.
From what I understand, looking back, I think it was a software issue.
Yeah.
And it was something to do with iMovie was copying files, but as it was copying files, it was kind of overriding other things. It was to the point where the project got corrupted. It wasn't the files themselves; it was the project.
Yeah. The files I could play. I was completely unable to open the project at all. So that's where that...
And then it wouldn't delete.
It just wouldn't delete, no.
But I can't remember what I did, but I somehow managed to get rid of it after we'd had some work
But the basic just... Before all that happened, I managed to complete editing episode 1, complete editing episode 2, and had most of episode 3 edited, and quite a lot of episode 4 edited.
Because at this point we just had some small gaps in film and it wasn't...
And we just hadn't even filmed episode 5 at all.
We hadn't filmed episode 5 at all, and at this point with episode 3 and 4 it was literally maybe 1 scene, 2 scenes that we hadn't quite finished.
With episode 4 I think it was like the end and the middle, and with episode 3 it was the end.
Yeah.
Like that's what needed to be done. Yeah. Like, so... And then,
so we as far as we knew, we were advancing quite far with it.
Which technically we are, because either, but yeah, to answer, like, I think the reason why, like, I felt like, this is gonna be difficult because maybe I'm gonna be like, with episode 2, I was like gonna be like, I'm not gonna end up getting it all like right and stuff like that. But I managed to, like, when finding the footage anyway, I managed to find the ones that are required and needed for editing.
Because I remember we had a bit of a scary moment, didn't we, where we had one scene and what had happened was we'd done a extended take, so we'd started to film a scene.
We had 2 cameras. We had one on you and one on Will, and just on pure luck, there was 2 shots of the camera on you and only 1 shot on the camera on Will. So I was like, where's the shot to carry on from that, basically? And what happened, and I found out eventually, it's like, the camera that was on you just got stopped recording while the other one was just left recording through the whole thing anyway.
Yeah, so one was an extended take and one was a split take.
Yeah, but like that, because I was like worried that like we lost a take with Will, which would have been the worst take to lose. Because, again, I'm not going to get into the gory details, but we are just unable to film with Will anymore.
Yeah, so that would have been a bit of a disaster. So it was kind of a bit of a relief when you kind of told me, it's an extended take, it's fine.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of a bit pivotal as well. It was something we couldn't just cut out. It was a bit of a conversation that we needed.
I mean, I like to think that all of the footage in there is pivotal, but
absolutely. But I mean, if it was kind of one line, you could have.
But it was a scene that was required and it needed to be there, and it was just. Even though a lot of VHS pirates is just conversations and talking, I do think it's important to the progression of story.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, it was more so a thing of if it was just Stantos, it was a thing of. So what are you doing this afternoon? Oh, nothing much. If it was literally just something like that, it advances that. But if it's just a throwaway line, then it's kind of like...
I like to have kind of what would be quote unquote throwaway lines in my things.
To make it more natural.
Because I'm a huge fan of Louis, the show.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of Kevin Smith's writing, especially within Clerks. And a lot of those things are literally just conversations about BS.
Stuff. Just things that happen.
Yeah, and I like that because it's almost like a relatable thing. And it gives a bit more of like a thing towards the thing where it's like maybe you can just... It can become a quotable thing as well as it can be a thing where it's like... Yeah, they have that conversation as well.
Maybe, like relatable.
Yeah, it's relatable, but as well as like I also like to incorporate things like that with things that are actually explanation-y as well as just story progressive.
Yeah. Have you spilt whiskey all over there?
No, I haven't. It's
Oh.
since I use. For people who can't see this, I have currently got a bottle of Gentleman Jack, the brand of Jack Daniels, and I'm using the bottle lid as a measure for how much whiskey I want in my glass.
Because we're literally too lazy to go downstairs.
Well, I think that's what it's made for as well. It looks
probably
like,
roughly. I don't think it's quite a measure, but it's not far off.
It's enough, really.
Yeah, it's enough for you.
Yeah, and it's a bit of like, it gets a bit, I don't know, it gets a little bit messy, but no, I did not spill anyway.
I just saw the tissues come out and panicked.
No, I've got it anyway, because it's like, it gets, I'm not great with pouring whiskey anyway, so it always gets a bit dribbly anyway.
Is this why I often get asked?
Yeah. Yeah, it is, yeah.
But you bought that as a little bit of a celebratory drink.
I like to treat myself. I'm not a big alcoholic drinker. Have we finished just talking about VHS Pirates, or did you have anything else?
I'll probably end up going back onto it, but you kind of distracted me.
With my whiskey.
With your whiskey.
Yeah, so yeah. No, yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about the fact that I bought whiskey, but yeah, I did.
I was just saying more in the sense of like, it's a bit of a treat because obviously your birthday's coming up and you only really drink on special occasions.
For the most part, yeah.
For the most part. Or if we have...
I'm very specific with my drinks as well. I'm not like a beer drink. You're
not a beer guy.
I don't mind. I'm fine with cider. I've kind of gone a bit off it since I've kind of... like, I used to really like fruit cider, like Copperbergs, and now really whenever I try a Copperberg, it's a bit of like, I don't know, it's too sweet for me, I guess.
Too sweet.
It's a bit too much of a sweet drink for me. And I don't mind Record League, but yeah. But no, I don't mind whiskey as such now.
Yeah, I think because it's something you kind of not had up until recently, and then... Well, I'm saying recently. I mean, within the past...
Within, like, well...
in the past year kind of thing.
Yeah, no. I've had Jack and Coke plenty of times, like the cans.
But not, like, straight up, like, neat.
No. Well, I don't do that too often.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Bad influence over here, like.
Well, no, I don't mind it doing straight every now and then, but I'm not a regular straight whiskey drinker.
Yeah. But yeah, what was I? Oh, yeah. So, obviously, that's done now. So, the aim is to get episode 3 out by, hopefully, July.
July.
Sorry, I was going to say we're in June right now.
Yeah, no, August, July. Why do I keep saying August? Yeah. July, which... Again, I said the same thing for episode 2. I'm a bit weary, but it's like of editing it because I don't know. It's like I just need to refresh myself like mentally on like what was actually shot, like what was neat, like what is in episode 3.
Yeah.
So once I get like an actual reminder of myself of what's actually there, then I'm fine editing it. I mean, sorry, Busy McTrekker edits it, not me.
Of course, Busy McTrekker. How could we forget?
The legend that is Busy McTrekker. Follow him at don't
follow him at all.
Don't.
He won't exist for
not
much longer.
Yeah, no. His Twitter account won't be around for too much longer. No one's gonna have a clue, and I'm not gonna explain it at all.
Yeah, we don't need to go into depth on that one. But I think what I noticed was initially before episode 1, kind of we got it sorted and it was uploaded. I know you were really quite tentative with the editing because obviously. Everything that happened before was like a massive blow, and it was one thing.
Because I kind of like banged out episode 2 like pretty quickly, like within one day.
Well, you literally, I think you'd started it. I had a headache. You started.
I imported the footage 2 days ago, and I edited the whole thing yesterday.
Yeah, because I had a headache, and I said to you, "I'm going upstairs for a nap," and I slept for maybe 2 hours, and you came up at 6, and you were kind of like, "Oh, I'm nearly done now. I just need to add title cards."
Yeah.
So you kind of got that edited in the space of about 2.5 hours, really.
Yeah, well, not the whole thing, but like
virtually.
Yeah, most of it, a lot of it.
You sort of not necessarily arranged it, but more of the actual editing together and cutting clips and things.
No, yeah. I'm sure once I get like, again, I'm leaving time to pass, so I'm not overloading myself with it all and giving space, and then by next month. I'll probably get more. I kind of force myself at times because I will admit I do have a bit of a lazy tendency with myself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a lazy person, but I do have lazy tendencies where I'm like, I just want to sit and just
chill.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes like I've noticed that sort of your method of kind of getting into that mindset of like editing and that is watching back stuff that we've done previously, and not kind of in a way of like, look how good this was, more of in a way of like.
Do you know what's been a big help is watching A Very Merry Gary Christmas back with editing. It's because I watched that and I not only do I associate it with fun times making it, but I purely enjoy the actual thing itself. In all honesty, because I find it one of the more funny things that I've actually directed, and I didn't even write the screenplay. I co-created the story. It was a concept. It wasn't just purely. I didn't just purely direct it. Will wrote the screenplay. I wrote. Me and him both came up with the concept of that. But I watched that back, and I always think to myself, like, with that, I always have fun with it, and I'm like, I want to do more of that. And then I'm like, wait, I am with VHS Pirates, and that's what kind of like gets me linked back into it. And not long ago, for the first time forever, I marathoned the first season.
Yeah.
And I never went back to it, not because it's like, oh, bad memories, because it wasn't. It actually was. But it's like, I just didn't feel like it would give me... Better times. I didn't think it would give me any motivation. I don't know why, I just didn't think it would.
Yeah.
But,
did you feel like you'd kind of be more like, ugh, than, oh.
No, I think it's because I know that Season 2 is actually really so much more of a different thing than Season 1 entirely.
I think there's more spectacle to it.
It's more spectacle. The episode, like, an episode isn't just a scene.
Yeah.
like episode 1 of VHS Pirates Season 1 was a scene. And then episode 2 was like maybe like two scenes?
Something like that.
3 scenes, I would say,
yeah,
was episode 2. Whereas, because the longest episode overall in Season 1 was like 17 minutes, and that was the last episode. So far, I have a feeling the shortest episode of Season 2 is going to be like 20 odd minutes.
Yeah.
So, I felt like, not necessarily like, I didn't really want to watch back Season 1. Not because of anything bad, but just because it's like, it's such a different thing, I didn't really see the point.
Yeah.
Like
you felt like it was kind of like...
I'm a very different person than I was back then filming. Even though we're the same characters, we're essentially... We're not acting completely different, because I still think the characters... You can tell the characters are who they were in the first season, but it's almost like, well, they're clearly older.
Yeah, I get that.
It's like, you can tell they're the same characters. Like, my character as Oscar definitely has similar tendencies as he did in the first season.
He's the way I would put it.
And same thing with Will, but you can tell that a few years have passed.
In Season 1, the Oscar character was Eddie from Ed, Edd n Eddy. In this season, he's like Del Boy.
Yeah.
That's how I would kind of look at it.
No, yeah, definitely. Like, you can tell they're the same character, but they've just advanced.
Yeah.
Like, all the characters as well, I would say, like, all of them have advanced. So, and also, like, the ambition of the filmmaking as a whole is a lot different. It's not just a scene in a room as such, and the dialogue is a bit more adventurous, I would say, in as such of, like... And I think that's because I had a lot of help from Will in terms of the dialogue and the story, as opposed to just me just purely writing, which I think I'm a lot better when I have a writing partner with me.
That's right. I'm not sure how far like different sort of the last few episodes might be, because there are scenes in there obviously that I've written, and we all have different writing styles.
Yeah.
I've tried to kind of stick to the overall feel of it.
Yeah. Well, I kind of pass the content in a way, like when you say to me, like, how's this? And I'm like...
Well, nothing gets put in there that you don't approve of, or that you're not happy with.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And a lot of the time, we kind of, prior to actually writing, we bounce the ideas back and forth first before it's actually written.
Yeah. Yeah, but going back, I watched Season 1, and that kind of got me back in the mood for it as well, oddly enough.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's like, I know, like, I've heard people like Tim Hurley and Matt from Flick Fanatics, like, say, like praise VHS Pirates. And even uni friends like Kyle, who said that, like, the first season was good.
My mum.
Your mum is a fan of the first season. And it's one of these things where it's like, I don't know, it's like, I never really saw that as such, because, especially recently, because it's like, I'm a much more ambitious filmmaker than I was back in 2014.
Yeah.
And I know I want to advance, just generally, so it's weird, like, looking back. It's easier looking back at something like 3 Hitmen, which is on the YouTube channel for people who
now
want to
uploaded.
Give now uploaded, which was filmed in 2012. It's easy to look back at that because I'm looking back at that like, me and me mates just mucking around.
Throwing scripts about.
Yeah. Like, it's easier doing that as opposed... It's not like it's hard to watch back at VHS Pirates, but it's like, if I want to get ambition, it's A Very Merry Gary Christmas, because that's the closest... That's the closest thing to a similar style with season 2. I would say, than anything I've made.
Yeah,
like,
I would say so.
Like, just generally.
I mean, part of that might be down to the writing, in all honesty.
Yeah, with Will, who out and out wrote the screenplay for A Very Merry Gary Christmas, and 99.9% of the dialogue was written by him for that short film, and I would say quite a lot of season 2 was written by him as well.
Yeah.
In terms of dialogue-wise.
Yeah, I think the only thing that's a bit different is when you start getting into, like...
The later
episodes, obviously. So if the dialogue's not as good, I do apologise.
Well, I passed it, so yeah.
When, like I say, you vetted it, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it is very different to the first season, and I think, obviously... even in terms of like locations and
which
stuff,
I'm happy with.
We've kind of gone out of the box a bit more, and there's more people involved now.
Yeah.
More kind of characters, more different. I mean, I applaud Gary. I love Gary in this.
Oh, he's great. I mean, like, literally, like, and we're talking about episode 1 and 2 here, which, I mean...
Because, I mean, evidently, obviously, Gary turned up in season 1.
He was Tommy Wiseau, but he never spoke as Tommy Wiseau.
And he played himself, but
which was the last episode, which was in 2 scenes.
Shot scenes
where it was, like, one location, and it really didn't involve anything apart from him just walking and saying some words, really.
Yeah.
Whereas this is actually a character in season 2.
Yeah. He's kind of become established, and I find him so funny in this.
What's funny as well, this is a bit of an insider thing, guys. When we never with A Very Merry Gary Christmas, we filmed that all in one day, and we needed to refilm maybe like a few shots because wind and stuff.
Just
like,
the weather generally.
The weather, wind. So I needed to get Gary back round to actually film it. And I wouldn't say he went through a bit of a depressive stage. He kind of went through a stage where it was like he didn't want to act anymore.
He's fed up.
And he made it. He posted on Facebook, I said, I'm thinking about quitting acting, which, yeah. And me and Will talked to him. We didn't beat him up. We just said, like, oh, what's up?
Not like in season 1.
No. We're like, oh, what's up? And then he basically said he wasn't necessarily enjoying the fact of, like, trying to remember a load of lines, which, granted, he's not the best at remembering what to say exactly.
Yeah.
And especially since I'm not necessarily a picky director, but I know what I like. Like, I know, like, how I want my things to be.
Yeah.
Like, I know, like, specifics and stuff. Like, things that might seem too specific in real life, but it's like, once you edit things together, it's like, oh yeah, that was needed to be like that. So he was having a bit of, like, a difficult time, like, just, like, thinking about acting. And he said he would do Very Merry Gary Christmas, and he said he would finish VHS Pirates. But I don't know, it's like, it's weird, because, like, we brought up him, like, possibly being in other things. But to be fair, we've also kept in consideration what he's good at, and that's just, like...
Yeah. Letting him kind of... Giving him a guide, but letting him have free reign at the same time.
Because it's like, we watch him... But it's like, anything where we can just say whatever, really. And we can give him a character to do. He's fine. He's great with it. Because
Give Gary a character and he can act for days. Give him a script and I think...
Give him a script and...
He gets frustrated.
Give him a script and give him, like, essentially him. And he's like, he does get a bit frustrated. But it's like, with Hobo Joe, he's great as.
Of course.
Because it's such a character and it's so not him that he just goes for it, I think.
Yeah.
And even with Detective Gary, it's like one of these things where it's like, it kind of starts off as him, and then it just becomes completely not.
And I think it kind of appeals to him because obviously Gary's a big fan. If anyone follows Gary on social media, they'll know he's a massive fan of a TV show called Police Interceptors.
Well, he's just a massive fan of the forces.
Police, really. So I remember the day we told him he was going to get a play, like the full-on police role.
Well, this was before he started playing that character before he was very avid for the police in the way he is now.
Yeah. So when we told him that, like, the direction it was kind of going to go in, I remember how excited he was when we were, like, saying about, oh, you're going to be, like, full-on police.
Well, you could see him when we started directing him. And it's like, right, dude. And he has a little bit of a chuckle to himself when I explain to him what he's going to do in certain scenes. Like, there's a scene involving him later on in the show where I'm not going to say anything because it is a spoiler for the story, but it literally ends up. But when I told him what he's going to do, he goes, "Are you sure?" Like, because it involves
a stunt of a small.
It involves a stunt, and I go like, yeah, don't worry about it. And he goes, and he had a bit of like, like that type of like little bit of a laugh. And then we're doing it. So yeah, he's well over the moon with this, and we got characters in mind for him to play that he has previously played, i.e. Hobo Joe.
Yeah.
As well as like another character within Knuckleheads, which was a little video series thing that me and Gary did back in 2011, which was the very first filmmaking thing we ever did. And there's another character involved in there, which
who we were considering bringing back.
Who we are bringing back.
Yeah.
And I know he's going to be over the moon to play him again. For the first time in, 5 years now, like. And it's now I'm aware of like what to give Gary in terms of acting. I think he's happy with what he gets to do. Because I think being the lead at A Very Merry Gary Christmas was a bit too much for him.
Yeah.
And I
think
understand
I found
that
in
now.
the scenes, I think, do you know what, in that, watching that back, he's still great as himself. There are some scenes where he's really good. But the scenes straight away, you know, he's so happy when he's doing the Hobo Joe parts.
Yeah.
He's so into it.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. Like, because I think it's the thing, like, he's trying to play himself saying lines that he wouldn't say.
Yeah.
So it's a bit difficult for him, whereas, like, if we say, right, Hobo Joe says this, he's fine with it.
Yeah.
Because he's, in a way, like, unintentionally kind of co-create. Well, he's in a way unintentionally kind of co-created Hobo Joe in a sense of, like, when we initiated him in these Knuckleheads video from 2011, which I will upload eventually, the very first Hobo Joe video.
Which is amazing.
It's only amazing for his, like, for just the fact of, like, it's the first Hobo Joe thing.
And it's hilarious, in my opinion.
And in that way, though, it's not actually funny.
I don't mean it's hilarious in the sense of it's on the level of,
it's not like
a professional comedy. I mean, it's hilarious in the sense of just two guys...
16-year-olds.
Two 16-year-olds mucking about with a video camera.
Yeah. And, what was I saying? But it's like, in the sense, like, yeah, I came up with the name, and I gave him I came up with, like, the outfit and stuff, but... And I gave him lines to say, but he created the voice. He created the mannerisms.
He put the character into Hobo Joe.
So in a way, he co-created Hobo Joe, and he co-created this other character that we will bring in. But yeah, no, it's like... And I do remember one point where me and Will did get a little bit frustrated with him and such, because we were like, oh, why is he... Oh, I don't believe him complaining. We've given him his own Christmas special and he's whinging about it. Like, we didn't necessarily go that far, but we were a little bit annoyed. Then we just kind of... For like a minute, and then we kind of was like... Well, maybe he just didn't really want that necessarily. Yeah. It's like, it's good as... Even he likes A Very Merry Gary Christmas a lot. But it's like, it's one of these things where it's like, I guess we should have really asked him, because for me and Will, the idea of all that stuff happening to Gary was funnier. Was like really funny. So we just kind of really wanted to do it, and I guess like making the lead of a 20-minute short film was probably a bit too much for him.
Yeah, a bit intense for what he's used to.
When he's never really wanted to be an actor, he's always...
He's the behind-the-camera guy for the most part.
Yeah, and he's a good extra.
Yeah.
I.e. blinking Detective Gary.
Or a side character.
That's what, yeah, he's a good side character, and he's a good, like, yeah, but yeah. I think it also, I mean, I also don't think you could have really called it A Very Merry Will Christmas. It just sounds like
it just wouldn't have been the same.
A Very Merry Gary Christmas. But I think it's, yeah, anyway. I don't know where I'm going with any of that, but yeah.
But yeah, we've got a lot done with it, I think, and I'm quite impressed. I don't mean Very Merry Gary Christmas, I mean VHS Pirates.
Yeah, Very Merry Gary Christmas has been done.
Yeah, for well over a year. But I am happy with how it's progressed, and considering the space that we were in even a month or two ago.
Yeah. 2 months ago.
2 months ago, when we were kind of initially, when we did the podcast about episode 1 and some of the things we talked about then, we said it was just really bad time.
Yeah, yeah.
I think we've done quite well, in all honesty.
Same. I've got my drive for it again now, I would say. And I do think it helps that I'm pacing it with a month, as opposed to like trying to get everything done so quickly. Like, yeah. It's taken so long to like figure it out, but I guess I needed all this time to really know what I wanted to do with it all, and kind of like find, like, kind of, it's going to sound really artsy and pretentious and shit, but it's going to be like to find the place that I needed to be for that, like find.
Yeah.
Because when it was all in early 2015, I knew what I wanted to do with it, but I guess I wasn't ready to do that.
Yeah, you
specific
weren't
story.
Prepared for it.
I wasn't. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, because that was only a year after season 1 got released, and thinking about that, it's like, yeah, I was nowhere near ready to do what season 2 already is now.
Yeah.
And I do think it's kind of helped with the space it's had to breathe almost.
And the amount of...
Like a fine whiskey.
Like a fine whiskey. And obviously the amount of like casting changes and stuff, that kind of drew it out more, but...
Again, all that will... The whole story of VHS Pirates will get discussed.
At some point.
In some point in time. Just not right now, because VHS Pirates just isn't done yet.
Yeah.
As well as there's certain things I do think need to be just left alone for a little while.
Absolutely, yeah.
To let everything kind of settle. I'm not saying anything's prone to kick off now or like explode, but there's also certain things that kind of have to be discussed amongst the story of the making of this.
Yeah.
That isn't quite ready.
Yeah.
Necessarily to be discussed.
Yeah, I think it's best to get everything sort of finalised.
We need to get this done, and I think we also need to have a lot of other creative stuff in mind as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which we've got a few things in the back burner.
And I'm going to say this, if I'm on a podcast or if anything like that, and if I get asked a question about, like if I'm doing an interview or a podcast or anything like that, and if I get asked a question about like the whole thing, like I'll be honest about it. Like, I'm not going to just go right ahead and just be like, oh, I'm not talking about anything. Like, I'm an honest person. Like, I mean, as you know, and a lot of people know, like, if you ask me a question, I'm going to answer you as honestly as I can, in all honesty. So it's not a matter of thing of, like, I'm hiding it until then. It's just things like, really get in depth with everything.
Yeah, and like, think about what you want to say.
Early thing, I can say right off the bat that James clearly had zero passion for it. And he just kind of really just, instead of saying, look, I don't want to do this, he kind of said, I still want to do this, but let me just delay every film arrangement possible.
Yeah,
for
the most part, I wasn't actually involved.
Well, you weren't?
With that, that's kind of how I became followed by things that happened after that.
That was the initial thing. Why VHS Park? Well, this season was delayed in the first place. The whole plan was to get it all filmed in the summer of 2015 and released in, like, the autumn time of 2015. And it was getting to July, and we barely filmed anything. And Will and I and Gary had all, we was all like, yeah! And then James, who people on people. He was in the early days of Heel on the channel. He did do a few reviews, and he did quite a bit of reviews, actually. He's got his own playlist if you want to familiarise yourself with him, if you really want to. But he initially had your role, like what you have now. He had Jake's and James. That was the joke. It was James and Jake's.
Yeah.
Because it's like instead of Sophie and Jake's, it was James and Jake's, and that was maybe the joke about it. And again, it's just it got delayed.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what kickstarted the delay of it all.
And then I kind of just came into it because there were other people sort of who we were going to cast, and through no fault of their own, they just couldn't do it.
No, yeah, exactly.
It was a mix of personal circumstances and other things like that. And it was nothing...
It was a mix of personal circumstances and uni work approach in a one person. It was like...
Yeah, it was like graduation.
It's like, I would, but...
Graduation was coming up, other people were having health issues and things like that. So it was like, through no fault of anybody's own, the role kind of got passed back and forth a bit.
Yeah, again, all this would be explaining in all the gory detail one day.
And then I kind of just, it was a thing of like, you were a bit like, oh God, what are we going to do with this? And I said to you, like, I can't act, but if you need somebody, I'll do it.
Which I mean, you're not a bad actor in this, in what's required. I do think you do good. You do good with the Jake's role.
I appreciate that.
Excuse me, and I
just can't play myself.
No, I didn't say that at all. You're not bad, as you say. I would say in later episodes you start to shine more when you're playing Sophie. I'm not saying you're crap in episode 2, but I'm just saying.
No, I take it on the chin. I mean, obviously, I did drama at college.
Yeah.
And I went into drama as a scriptwriter. That was my intention in taking it, because in the college I went to, there was 2 courses. There was drama and theatre, and then there's performing arts. And performing arts was singing, dancing, acting, everything. And drama and theatre was more studying scripts and things like that. So I went into all the
It was playwrights and stuff.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I'm going to write plays, yay. And then it came to assessment time, and nobody wanted to play the main role. So I came in one day and just got told, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And I went, I can't act. Like, I'm literally here to write scripts.
Yeah.
And the thing itself had no script.
Oh, goodness, right.
It was... It was 100% ad-libbed or physical theatre, so like not necessarily dancing, more looking like we're on the middle of a hill in the middle of summer doing yoga or something. It was like that, and I kind of like, I think the bits with that I shone with were like this. I did some sound design for it, I did some other things like that, but the acting, I knew straight away. I was like, I'll do what I can, but I can't do a lot with it. And what was kind of annoying was there was seasoned actors in that group, and it was literally a thing of no one wanted to do it. So I got landed with it, and obviously, I did abysmally. And and they were kind of like, how did you end up with a grade that... I'm going to say it now, did I get a D, I think, or an E? I didn't do very well on that one assessment. And people were kind of like, how did you do that? I told you from the outset that I can't act.
Yeah.
But it was kind of one of those things. So it was like a big... I think initially it was kind of like... Obviously I'd done that, been abysmal at it, and then I'd kind of gone 3 years through uni doing an English course that required 0 acting.
Yeah.
And the closest thing I presented to a class and read out poetry in public places. But it's a bit of a different thing. So I think the more we did it, the more comfortable... A bit like what we said with Gary, like, he kind of gets more in his comfort zone as he gets used to roles, or as he kind of understands what he's doing. Yeah. And I think in early days I was that frightened of like mucking it up, because I was like, oh God, we've gone through so much with this. It's like I kind of have to be good at it, or reasonable, passable.
Yeah.
So but it's been fun. I have actually enjoyed it more than I first anticipated. It was kind of one of those things. When I first agreed to do it, I was kind of like, oh yeah, I'll do it. It'll be fine. Then when it came to actually doing it, I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just going to do it. Just wing it, it's fine. So it was like a big thing, but I've really enjoyed what we have done, and I think we've done...
Well, also since you've kind of like... You've not sneaked your way into this role, but like, just kind of like naturally you've became you just quite naturally you've done some scripted stuff within this season as well. Like you've added to the script.
Yeah.
To this season as well, just slowly as well.
And I mean, it's mainly been out of necessity.
Yeah.
But that I can honestly say that's the bit I've enjoyed the most. I think just like kind of getting to write and things like that, because it's such a stretch away from like having to write assignments.
Yeah.
And then or have been able to write something but having to stick within parameters, and then having to absolutely go into depth as to why I've written things a certain way. It was nice to just write something for fun.
Yeah.
So it was a different experience, and it kind of if I feel more so like, I don't know if you feel like this, but as an actor, if you're confident with a script, you're more confident in your role.
Oh, definitely, because without a script, you
know what as a director, you know what intention you want from your characters.
Yeah.
And as a screenwriter, it's sort of a similar thing. If you're writing a character, you have something in mind when you're writing.
Yeah.
That character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely good, and I think some of the films we've watched over the past couple of months, watching films with really good or reasonably good screenplays has helped.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a few stinkers.
What, Baywatch?
Baywatch, yeah, which was absolutely abysmal. It's
kind of gone worse in my mind as time's passed on.
I kind of feel like with Baywatch, it was one of those movies, and we went into it with the thing of like, this is either going to be really good in a 21 Jump Street kind of way.
Like, it's going to be so goofy funny. Like, it's legitimately, going to be like...
it's going to actually be funny.
Yeah.
Or it's going to be bad, but in a... well, I won't say Sharknado way, because me and you were kind of in the agreement that Sharknado is just a bit boring.
It's boring. It's going to be like... It's going to be just so insane.
Like the Marine.
It's, like that, or like, there was some of that, like, Saw 3 deals, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, it's just going to be so just wildly bad.
Yeah, like it's bad, but it sort of semi-takes itself seriously, which is what's quite funny about it.
Yeah, but it just got boring after a while, didn't it? Like, nonsensical.
Honestly, the first 5 minutes were the best part.
And the one joke about the pollution joke.
That's polluting.
That's polluting.
That joke was fun.
Because it's just the way The Rock delivered it.
Yeah.
Like,
I think if The Rock hadn't been in it, it would have been even worse.
Definitely, yeah.
Which is a shame, because
there's even
good actors.
But to be fair, there's also a bit where The Rock's like, when he just goes like, I shit dolphins and ride the dick of a whale, or something like that.
Yeah, he's trying to distract the villain.
Which is just...
basically just a Bond villain, but shit.
But they make the joke, and it's like... But it's not self-aware, because, like, you just became a bad Bond villain then. Like, you literally just became a bad Bond villain. Which is... And I mean, like, and it could have been funny, the whole thing about, like, there's no such thing as lifeguard pursuit. Yeah. Like, you're a lifeguard, you're not a police. But it kept going on with no punchline. Went
on and on and on. Like, you're lifeguard, you're not the police.
But it's like, right.
We know. That was the thing. That's the joke of the whole film.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know why, like,
There's just nothing really, like, likeable about it.
That's incorrect.
As such.
I really like Alexander Daddario.
Well, we know that.
So you're saying there's nothing likeable in the film?
No, I said there's nothing likeable about the film itself, not about the people in it, because I like The Rock.
And Zac Efron's cool.
Zac Efron's fine. I was quite startled by when he took his top off. And I don't mean that in a way of like, ooh. I mean that in a way of like, Jesus Christ.
Like he's like he's like, it's almost the same reaction when you look at Jinder Mahal. It's like, God. Like,
it's like, oh my God. Look at the veins.
and with Zac Efron, I was like, look at those abs. Like, look. I
was like, is that a man real? I was kind of like, is he smeared Marmite in between the crevices of his 6-pack?
No, but yeah, that.
Or his 9-pack, or his 10-pack, I wasn't quite sure.
And I was really excited.
I lost count of his pack.
And I was really excited for, like, the David Hasselhoff cameo, because you know how much I loved his cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy, and you know how much I was anticipating, like, oh, please, let him be a cameo in this. And then when I saw his name in the credits, I was like, oh my God. And then when it got to it, I was like...
Oh.
I was like, really? Really?
Well, technically he had 2 cameos. He had a cameo as a keyring. And he had a cameo as himself in, like, Vodafone or something. Or Catherine Warehouse.
Catherine Warehouse. Yeah. And I said to you, like, how funny would it have been if, like, his cameo was, like, The Rock died, quote-unquote, died.
Yeah.
And then he had like wings, like he like Tooth Fairy, and he might have made like an in joke about like, oh, not again.
Yeah.
like he was like, oh, really? I thought I got rid of wings or whatever like that. And then he looks up and like how Simba saw him move faster in the clouds, like The Rock just sees David Hasselhoff in the clouds.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's it? Is it Mitch Buchanan?
Yeah.
It goes like, it's like, is that you, Mitch Buchanan? And then like David Hasselhoff goes, yes, Mitch Buchanan, it's me.
Yeah.
Like, and how funny would that have been? And then like David Hasselhoff like gives him like the magic touch on his head, and then he brings back to life. But what it was is like he got the defibrillator, then he got just I just wish they just would have went all out with it, but they just didn't.
Do you know what
really
it was as well? They try to be ridiculous with it.
Yeah.
But then in some scenes they try to make it really serious.
And then they just really...
Like, you know the part where it's like where he got the motorbike and rode off the end of the pier and then like he's like, oh, people nearly died, and it's like, okay, so this is meant to be really serious, but you're trying to be ridiculous with it as well, so what even?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I was going to say something about it, I forgot now.
And like there was like...
Yeah. But there's also things that don't make zero sense. Like the thing that annoys you so much, like it's when they were like laying in the morgue thing.
Yeah.
And then like they go, shut up, and Zac Efron's clearly making a lot of noise that the bad guys will clearly be hearing, but they just don't. And they open the thing, and what do? They just start talking about their evil plan right there and then. Where Alexandra Daddario's right near them, and she's outright just moved her phone and started filming them. It's like, they didn't see that?
And then
like,
she gets
really?
a phone call and it never occurred, like, before you start trying to film
Just
people,
silence.
to, like, put your phone on airplane mode.
Yeah, do not disturb, airplane mode, Just, there's little things like that which I'm like, that's annoying.
And I'm aware what we're actually picking to bits here, but it is...
I know, but I also said this to you, it's like, I just really didn't want it, I from the get-go, I was like, I don't want Alexandra Daddario to get with Zac Efron. And I don't want the geek to get with CJ.
Yeah.
Because it's like, because of course that would happen. Like, I said, you're like, how... Like, I actually
you know
thought...
what? That person is Olaf personified.
Not that bad. He's not that... Like,
Are you saying Olaf's not that bad?
Olaf's not that bad.
You know
not
my feelings on Olaf.
I know you do, but in reality, Olaf's not that bad. But
Olaf
like,
never got his dick stuck between a deck chair.
I thought... Like, Eric Strickler said like he thought that scene would have got cut because he saw it early on.
Well, that seems like it would have been a scene... Do you know what I was like? That was like an Adam Sandler joke.
It really was. It really was. But no, like, I legit, like, it occurred to me, like, they could do this, and they just didn't. I was like, because there's a moment where, like, the guy, I forgot his name. I think it's John Bass who's the actor.
Yeah.
His character and Alexandra Daddario were just, like, watching CJ run slow motion. And then, like, they kind of both kind of, like, gaze and awe at her in a way, and I literally thought to myself, like, what a cool thing would it be that I just turned out like Zac Efron's still trying to hit Alexandra Daddario, and she's like, look, I like you as a mate, but I'm gay.
Yeah.
And then that's just how it turns out. I'm like, how cool would that have been? And like the geek's still like, hey, there's CJ. And then like she runs up to Alexandra Daddario and they are into each other. Yeah. And then like Zac Efron and John Bass kind of just look at each other and go like, want a drink? And he goes, yeah. And then it just like, it doesn't really end on like a downer. It's just like, yeah, and then the Rock still like the Rock just flexes in like sand and just does rock things or whatever like that. Like, but just the same thing where it's like, because at the very beginning, Alexandra Daddario calls out Zac Efron and be like, yeah, this is gonna happen. Whatever. Yeah.
On
whatever.
the one hand, it kind of felt like they were trying to like. It's sort of, they were torn because it was like because of the nature of the film, they were really misogynistic with it. But then in the same token, oh, you're right there.
Yeah, it caught the back of my throat.
Did it?
The whiskey, yeah.
Yeah, so it
that
like,
burns.
So it was kind of like a thing of like, it ended up being quite misogynistic, but then every now and again it felt like they were trying to like force feminism in there.
It was weird.
Like, yeah, we're cool it up to date.
It was so weird, yeah.
It's kind of like, 1 minute they were like, look at this girl's tit, and then the next minute it was like, yeah, I'm not going to get with you, Zac Efron, because I'm a strong, independent woman. And it's like,
like you brought this up. I think you brought, and we both kind of pitched like cooler ideas for Baywatch anyway. I'm like, how cool would it have been where The Rock got arrested, and when The Rock got arrested and he went to jail instead of having to work a car phone warehouse, he went to jail,
which is the more logical thing given the given the circumstances of what happened in
And
the film.
And then he met Jason Statham, and then they had a prison fight, and no, that was a much better film with The Rock.
Yeah.
But the thing, and then Zac Efron's like, what are we gonna do? And then The Rock's like, call this number. She's an old, it's an old it's an old experienced lifeguard, and it's Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a thing where she leads kind of the women on to fight this mission or whatever like that, and then you got Zac Efron and John Bass well, what do we do? It's you're here to be the eye candy, so just and then it's a bit of a role reverse. It's we're just running slow motion. That's all you're here for, isn't it? It's you got abs. That's all you're here for. Then throw the gender
some
thing.
commentary.
They just throw a thing where, and then you have Pamela Anderson and the new CJ Park and Alexandra Daddario, and then the other actors just doing cool Lara Croft-esque stuff on. Yeah. But instead of tombs, it's a bloody beach. You know what I mean? Just how funny. Exactly. You know what I mean? It would have been a bit of a commentary thing as well. It would have been just a funny thing. And it would have been entertaining. Exactly. You know what I mean?
And it would have felt more in character for the most part for a lot of them, and it would have been more I'm saying more realistic, but you know what I mean.
It would have been more realistic for a Baywatch film.
Yeah, definitely. Because they kind of made it ridiculous in the one hand, and then all funny and ridiculous and all serious. Sorry, all serious in the one hand, then all funny and ridiculous on the other.
They should just win.
You kind of need to choose one or the other. It's not a black comedy.
I kept saying it over and over again. Just why didn't we should have just got 21 Jump Street, but with Baywatch?
I think they tried to do that, but it just didn't work.
Yeah.
In some senses.
Because, I mean, if
more so in the way of, some of the jokes they were making when they were trying to make all the jokes we're self-aware.
Because if you look at the cast, for a Baywatch film, how awesome does a Baywatch film sound when you've got The Rock, Zac Efron, Alexandra Daddario, and an unknown hot blonde in that film? It just sounds like that's just a perfect, Baywatch film right off the bat. Because they're all pretty funny. Let's make it funny now.
I mean, I think we do need to actually watch the trailer for it because we haven't done that yet.
Well, I technically did when I watched the extra for the Pretty Much It post-trailer reaction.
Yes, you did. Sorry, yeah. Forgot about that.
It essentially advertised the film. But
so it was just, I just felt like they got it so wrong.
Yeah, because it's weird saying that Baywatch had potential, but it had potential to be really funny.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it had potential to be a tour de force film. Film of the year caliber, but I'm just saying it had the potential to be a really funny summer film that could have been a summer film tradition for a daft comedy.
And I felt quite worn out after it.
Same.
I'm not gonna lie.
It felt much longer than it was.
It kind of, I'm not saying it put me off going to the cinema because there was nothing else we kind of wanted to see.
Because we went to see Wonder Woman right after that.
And I was looking forward to Wonder Woman, but it was kind of a bit of I was oh god, that's still kind of weighing on me a bit. But that did kind of go out the window when we did go to see Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman was top.
It was. I loved it. But, before I go into that, because I do want to talk about that, but I feel there's one thing lately, and, I wish cinemas would stop putting the adverts on for so long, because it literally becomes a thing of, I get excited to go watch a movie.
Then you forget.
We sit down, and then there's half an hour of adverts, and then, I almost get up to leave, and then I'm like, oh yeah, we can't watch a movie, there's something on now. It's almost by the time the adverts are finished, I kind of get to the point where I'm ready to go home, because I'm bored.
I'm just looking at my Letterboxd. You can follow me on letterboxd.com/Fitchett. And I'm looking, because I was thinking, what films do I watch in between that and Baywatch and Wonder Woman? And it's I watched Headshot, which was top. The East, which was good. Bowling for Columbine. And then Wonder Woman. So it's you
had a bit of a gap in between, Brad. I didn't watch anything in between.
No, because you didn't watch Headshot with me. That's when I was on my own. You didn't watch The East with me. Again, that was when I was on my own.
Technically, I did watch something. It wasn't a movie. I watched season 1 and 2 of. I watched a BBC drama called Three Girls, which was just emotionally draining.
It was the same. You were watching that as I was watching Bowling for Columbine.
So we were both just
which didn't really put us in a great mood at all, necessarily.
Yeah, and then I watched a really good Channel 4 comedy, which I will recommend, and I think it's one of those things where it's not going to be everyone's taste, but I absolutely loved it. And there's only 2 seasons of it at the minute, but it's called Chewing Gum, and it's so fun. I love it.
Channel 4?
Yeah, Channel 4. You can watch it on 4 on demand.
So for all you UK guys out there,
you can watch it on 4D. But it's basically the gist is it's about a lady living on a council estate. Yeah. And that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it. and a family extreme Christians, and she's kind of...
Is it just much so as the thing, like, if you're trying to explain Louis, it's like, it's about, like, a stand-up comedian who does stand-up and looks after his kids and then just does stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like about a girl, and she's a person of colour, and she lives on a council estate with her mum, and she's sort of, like, got a lot of friends on the council estate, and she's kind of fell in love with this white boy. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of about that. But it's a comedy, and it's quite surreal. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely worth a watch. I found it really funny. Mm-hmm. And I think it was the first thing, because the writer, and I'm not sure if she's a writer and director, but she's like the lead role, and it was the first thing she'd done for writer, TV. It's the first thing she did for TV. There's a little, if you watch it on 4D, season 1 and 2 is on there, but there's 2 little interesting 6-minute videos that you can watch in between seasons. Just her talking about how her own religion influenced what she wrote for the show, and like what living on a council estate was like, and about she was like a fun little video talking about like writing and filming sex scenes and how awkward it is and stuff, and it's quite, they're fun little videos to watch. Yeah,
well, the main thing that I watched again, Born for Columbine. Not going to get too much in that because I mean, there's not. All I'm going to say is about that is that Michael Moore did a pretty good job at showing how the whole pro-gun thing is very just kind of idiotic in a sense, especially not pro-gun in the sense of just being defensive, but it's just more pro-gun in the sense like, I'm allowed to have one, so therefore I should have one loaded in my household at all time. The fact of like when, I mean, it's hard to weigh on that in itself. It's kind of hard to weigh in on as a British person because we just don't have that here. It is, and we just can't, like, again, as a Brit, it's just kind of ingrained in our culture where it's like, you don't need one, so why should you? Chances are, if you're a Brit, the only gun you'll ever see is either in a museum. It'll be in a museum, or it'll be maybe a farmer or a hunter. If you've got, like, I had friends whose dads used to go on hunting trips. Yeah. And they used to shoot, like, I don't know, like geese and ducks and things. Like pigeon shooting or something. Pigeon shooting and things like that. So it's very rare that you'll encounter anything like that. Like, say, you tend to get, like, stuff in museums or reenactments. Yeah. Where we live, we're in, like, a seaside town, and it was, like, a part for a lot of things during the war. It's more so if like you're like down the headland, because the headland's like old traditional like side of the town. But even sort of in where the museum is, they'll do reenactments and things because like I say we were a port town. Yeah. We were a port town, so we had a lot of boats in and out and a lot of weapons and things being. We're very proud of the our ship history. I'll put it that way. With the general consensus of how this town feels about our docking history. Yeah. So it's like a big thing here, but it's not something you see very often, so it's like I say, it's very hard to weigh on when it's not your culture and it's not something that you come from. I mean, I'm saying that actually, I saw a gun at the weekend, because we have armed police everywhere at the minute. That's correct. So I was visiting Newcastle, which people, if may be familiar with if you're from the north, or if not, you'll know, most people, if you mention Newcastle, will go, oh, Geordie Shore, which is on MTV, I think. I think it was. I think it's on MTV, Geordie Shore. Basically, Newcastle is essentially the capital of the northeast of England, and I would say it's kind of the New York of this area, of like our general vicinity. For the northeast, that's right, definitely. I wouldn't say for like England as a whole, but like it's the big city in the northeast. Put it that way. And for wrestling fans, it's the home of what culture? Yeah, there you go. So it's like I was sort of visiting there earlier in the week. And there was, I mean, we went a while back and there was armed police at the police station. Yeah. Now they've just got them walking around in the shopping centre. There's like a big kind of shopping mall or whatever. Mall. And it's kind of half shops and then half food court. Yeah. And there's kind of a section where it's which is like... great, the food court. You've got like a Starbucks and a Debenhams, which is like a big department store for people who don't know what Debenhams is. And there's an Apple store and things like that. There's a Hollister. Yeah. And just kind of pacing up and down outside the Apple store, there was like 2 armed police. Yeah. And my mum was so jarred by that. She was like, have they got guns? I was like, yeah, it's just the armed police, mum. But that's kind of a more recent development here, and obviously that's not just civilians with weapons. Yeah, exactly. But I also in terms of like, if we're talking about like things that we've watched recently, because I watched... What did I watch? I literally had the thing up. Because after Wonder Woman, I watched Swiss Army Man again.
Yes, you did. Forgot about that.
Still amazing. Love it still, of course. I'm not going to hate it all of a sudden. And then I watched, like, the next day, I watched a film called Love Exposure, which caught my attention when Max Landis said that it's the best, in his opinion, it's the best film ever made. Not saying necessarily it's his favourite film, because he said if we're going off favourites, the film he's watched the most is Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
But in terms of best made film, he thinks Love Exposure is. And when I looked it up, it was a Japanese film. I'm like, well, I'm gonna watch it then.
Yeah.
And then it's a 4-hour long Japanese film, which is about anything, which doesn't have a genre, yet it has all the genres. And it's a film that I think everyone needs to see to have an opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to show me that, aren't you? So
it's a discussion video waiting to happen. Definitely.
I mean, my film viewing and TV show viewing, I was kind of broke up with it because I watched the general election, which is something that I haven't actually done before. I tried to watch a little bit of the American election when Trump got voted in, but I didn't make it at the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, time zones as well, so it does.
Yeah, time zones don't help. But I stayed up all night and watched the general election.
I didn't do that.
You went to bed about 1 o'clock, I think.
I got to sleep at 2. So
yeah, I watched it with my dad, and he kind of nodded off around 5:30.
Yeah.
But I managed to stay up throughout the entire evening. And kind of like something I was saying at the beginning of the video when we were getting on about tomato meters, the little fun thing that happened. I was watching, before we watched it, because we watched it at the coverage on ITV, because that seemed to be the one that was the most up to date in terms of like counting seats.
Yeah, because I had the Sky News thing on.
BBC were quite far behind, and for the most part, like it was maybe saying like 26 seats on ITV, but then it was only saying 19 on BBC.
We're getting political here.
Yeah, they kind of caught up eventually. We just flicked it, basically.
I just want to say this for people who might be listening right now. I'm not a massively political person, so don't worry, this isn't going to get too much of a political discussion for anyone who's not. First of all, not interested in politics at all. Second of all, not interested, who has no clue about UK politics. So
we're not getting into that too much. It was just more of a thing like we were watching the broadcast of the election on 4 different channels. You've got BBC One, which is like the big centre in London. You've got ITV News. You've got Channel 4, and then you've got Sky News.
I went back and forth on the Sky News stream on YouTube. Because they stream live anyway.
Yeah. So we were switching between ITV and BBC, but we stuck with ITV for the most part. But before I realised my dad was going to watch it and ended up watching it with him, I was watching it on Channel 4 because they actually did an alternate election night, so it was something that was a bit less like stereotypically boring. Like they had like David Mitchell on there, who was like quite a well-known British comedian. He's famous for like Peep Show and Mitchell and Webb and things like that. So they had him on there, and they had like a few other people. And it was more of like It was more of like a fun way of doing it. And prior to like before the votes and that started coming in, they were talking about like people's like politicians' popularity, but they were trying to kind of rate them on the tomato meter.
Like Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, like they were like basing it on like popularity polls and then comparing it to like films, like on Rotten Tomatoes. And basically, we've got for non-British people, we've got a politician called Jeremy Corbyn,
who's essentially the Bernie Sanders over here.
Yeah, and he basically went from kind of being like really unpopular to being really popular. He didn't win.
He got very close.
He got very close to winning, and nobody won technically.
It's a hung parliament.
But he got quite close to winning. His popularity soared basically in the weeks leading up due to various things.
Because he's like the most relatable politician ever. Like he speaks about common sense and just like general things.
But we watched it, and they were talking about how his popularity changed, and I think they said something like when he started off campaigning, because this election thing only came up in recent months. We weren't meant to have one; it just came up, and he started off as Sharknado 2, and then I can't remember what he moved up to, but it was something. It was a reasonably okay movie. It wasn't Bruce Almighty, but it was something like that.
Yeah.
And then he became Erin Brockovich, and then he ended up like just coming up to the election. He was Moonlight.
That's amazing, Jeremy Corbyn. I like to.
But I just love how he went from the level of Sharknado 2
to Moonlight.
Yeah. And the fact it wasn't Sharknado, it was Sharknado 2.
What was it? What was it called again?
Oh, hell no, I
The
think.
sequel.
Oh, the sequel.
I think. The second one or so. It was something daft like that.
Yeah, there was one. It was all Hell No, and then there was the Fourth Awakens.
The fourth, I think. Oh Hell No was the third one. The one with Chris Jericho.
But yeah, so it was just that just really made me laugh because I meant to tell you about that afterwards. I thought you'd find it quite funny, and I totally forgot. But it was just the fact that like everybody else is basing popularity polls on the well, this policy and that policy, and they're like, well, Sharknado too. Thank you for that, Channel 4.
For people anyway, Jeremy Corbyn totally is the Moonlighter politicians. Yeah. Just
and what made it even funnier, totally not that, but they were trying to have this really serious discussion on ITV, and then they went to like the current PM, Theresa May. They went to her constituency, and she was running up against a guy in an Elmo costume, a guy from a party called Monster Raven Looney Party who looks like Doug Dimmadome from Fairly Odd Parents, and Lord Buckethead, who was basically, he looked like he fell straight out of Daft Punk, in all honesty. He was like...
Do you know what he looked like? He looked like the Black Knight from Monty Python, the Holy Grail, and something that Daft Punk would have just done. Yeah.
And bear in mind, one of his policies is to bring back teletext. Which, for people who don't know what teletext is, it was around years ago, and it was this thing, you press the little info button on your TV remote, and it would come up, and it would tell you, it would be like a black screen with fluorescent writing on it, of different colours, and it would have, like, the news on it, and the TV listings, and you could look at the weather, and you could look at your horoscope, and there was, like, dating ads on there, and there was little games you could play
I associate that with my granddad, because they would either, like, that would be on there all the time.
But yeah, he wants to bring that back. It got done away with and everyone was quite angry about it when we switched over. I think it was when everyone switched to fibre, when we went away from like cable TV. And it was just so, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, teletext back in the day. But yeah, it was just, there was so much weird stuff happening that evening. And then there was another guy where it looked like a guy from like Panic at the Disco was running for Lib Dem, and it was one of the more surreal things I think that I've watched. Yeah. And I was quite glad to be going to sleep at 8:30 the next morning.
Goodness.
But yeah, none of that really compared to Wonder Woman, in all honesty. I was
You want to go forth with this?
Sure.
Just go forth what you were.
I loved it. I was kind of like, I remember before we went and kind of I was excited for it. I had really good vibes from it. And I was sort of in the back of my mind kind of worried that it was going to be awful. Because everything recently that I've got my hopes up for in terms of movies has been disappointing, or it's been good to a point, and then it's kind of just tapered off.
Logan?
Yeah. I had such high hopes, and I was so excited. Was your most anticipated
film this year?
It was, and then it just, when we got the third act, it just tapered, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what's happening.
I'm not sure if I've said this, like, on a video or anything like that. Like, it could have been Fury Road, but it became Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that they could have really went with a complete zero hope angle, and then just like when they get to the place where the children are meant to be, they're not there. Like it's literally a made up thing in the comic. Like they go there, and the next 23 is like no, and then Logan's like oh, and it's like literally thinking like, well, what do we do now? Because in Fury Road, what happened there, where they're like, we're going to the green place, and then they go, let's go to the green place. It's like, yeah, no, that doesn't happen.
That's not a thing.
That's not a thing anymore. Because where's the others? We're the only ones left. It's like, oh, we did this.
Epic Australian grannies.
We had this journey to get this place, and it's not here. And that just made the story way more interesting. But what Logan did instead, it was like, yeah, here's the children, and yeah, super mutant children.
It kind of went back to like, they tried to do something really new with it, and it kind of went back to old X-Men format.
Yeah, and I was thinking,
it got very 2000s.
Well, that's why when, spoiler alert for Logan, when he died, I didn't feel as emotional as I felt I should have.
I didn't care.
I mean, I cared because in reality, I'm like, oh, he's like, oh, I started watching him when I was like 6.
I cared for the character, but for the scene just did nothing for me.
That's what I mean. Like, I was like, oh, because like, it's Hugh Jackman's last thing as Wolverine, and to me, that's like, oh, he's been around for so long, and he's been a really like staple part of my childhood in terms of superhero viewings. So that part of me was like, oh no, but like I wasn't like, no, don't look and don't
And it
die.
didn't help as well to just kill Professor X off.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, he's dead, so that's kind of me emotionally drained for the rest of the film now.
Oddly enough, I didn't feel much for that either, and I was
Did you know-
surprised. I was like, why aren't I emotional over that?
Do you know what? I
think-
wanted the movie to
I think
end?
the film, because I personally feel the film was so disconnected from the rest of the franchise, it didn't almost feel like the same characters,
Yeah.
oddly enough.
Do you know what? I think I've said this many a time, and I kind of just wanted it to end before the third act. Like when it was just the point where they were like sat in the truck.
I do disagree with you because I did want to see a bookend to like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Yeah.
And having it like that would be too much of like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Like it would have been too ambiguous. I feel I wanted like a definite end to it.
To be fair though, with those movies, there's never a definite end to anything because they're just mucking up with
But I
time
knew
travel.
this. But I know this was a definite end to
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. So I wanted that.
Yeah, I think it's just how we differ in terms of preference, but yeah.
No, but I'm in the minority in saying this, but I do think like to an extent I'm in the minority. I think the three best X-Men films are all the three with McAvoy and Fassbender.
Yeah, I think it's just because I think people would be inclined to agree with you to an extent. But
For First Class and Days of Future
But
Past.
everyone hates Apocalypse, so...
I don't get it. I really don't understand it.
Neither do I. I enjoyed it. I mean, I do want to watch it again because I've only seen it once.
Well, I want to binge through the X-Men. We can do a discussion thing if we can do a discussion franchise, a discussion series on that if you want to.
We totally can. Does that mean I have to sit through Origins Wolverine?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll do it for you.
Well, because I can't remember a thing about it and I need a bit.
I remember bits, and I just remember not liking it and finding it
Does Deadpool count within that?
No, because it's not really an X-Men film. There's the odd X-Men character in it, but it's not
It's
about...
in the unit. Okay, yeah, I get what you mean, yeah.
Like, there's characters in it who are technically X-Men, but it's not about them.
Yeah, well, they visit Xavier's house. Xavier's mansion.
Yeah, but he never appears.
Well, no one does.
Yeah.
They make a direct joke. It's like, it's weird as if the studio couldn't afford any actors.
I do love Deadpool.
I need to rewatch it. I've only seen it once since, which was in the cinema. I need to get it on Blu-ray.
I actually forgot it's out. I know that sounds ridiculous because it came out so long ago.
Speaking of Blu-ray, where's Split? Is it still in the bag?
I think so, yes.
Well, it will be because I didn't get it out. I bought Split and it's still in the bag that we got it.
Yeah, we took our backpack shopping. But yeah, it's we got that today, so that's cool because we've been waiting a while for that to come out.
Because I love... I would safe to say that I really like Split. I wouldn't say love. It's... I think it's safe to say, as of right now, it would be somewhere in the top 10 for me.
For this year?
Yeah. Not of all time, definitely not of all time. It's definitely in the top 5 of Shyamalan films.
Oh god, yeah, well that's not really hard to do in all honesty.
What's your favourite Shyamalan film?
Do you know what? I automatically just went Lego Batman and I don't know why. My favourite Shyamalan film, Sixth Sense.
Unbreakable for me.
I've only seen Unbreakable once, and I've seen Sixth Sense several times though, so... And I absolutely love Toni Collette, I'm a Toni Collette fangirl, so...
Well, I'm a Sam Jackson fangirl, so...
You're a Sam Jackson fangirl.
Yeah. And it's got it's got the second best Sam Jackson haircut in a film ever.
What's the first best?
Pulp Fiction.
Oh, of course, yeah. Afro.
Yeah.
And he's got a pretty... Well, it's more like the sideburns and stuff in Hateful Eight.
Yeah.
But he's got a cool look in that also.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we do need to rewatch that because we have only seen it. Yeah, we have only seen it once, and I'd kind of like to watch it in order of like.
Spoilers for Split. Seriously, if you've not seen Split, do not listen to what we're gonna say here.
I want to watch it with Unbreakable first, and then watch Split.
I remember thinking just when it happened, you were next to me when it happened when we were watching it. I just remember kind of reacting oh my god, and then it ended, and then I had to be like, that's amazing because this reason.
Yeah, and I was like, why?
And then you were like, oh, I wish I saw Unbreakable now. I was like, well, we didn't know.
We watched it when we got back, but I think it would be better to watch
after,
it in the correct order.
Yeah.
I say that with...
Well, I want to watch it now, knowing that it's in the Unbreakable universe.
Yeah.
I think to say it's an Unbreakable sequel is not fair to say.
Because it's not a sequel as such, it's a tie-in.
Yeah. And
I think there's a big difference between the two.
yeah, and I can't wait for Glass.
When's that coming out? I know there's no exact release date, but like, yeah, in terms of have
I
they
don't
said
know,
anything
maybe
about it?
I think, I don't know. Because he's finished writing it, I think, so he's like,
Yeah.
they haven't started production yet. But yeah, I can't wait for that. Because I'll say it, I'm a Shyamalan fan. I don't hate him.
I don't hate him. I hate some of his films. Like, I absolutely despise The Happening. I think it's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
I need to watch it, like, actually, like, you know, like, just to see it, like, and, it's weird, because I will admit, I've yet to see The Village, which is extremely mixed opinions.
We need to watch that. I kind of... It's a long time since I've seen it, but I remember
and I'll say that,
liking
and
it.
I'll say this as well, I know nothing about it, so it's not even like I got the twist spoiled for me. I know there's a twist, but it's
and
like,
I kind of like Signs in a goofy way. I sort of think it's terrible, but I kind of like it at the same time.
oh, I love it.
It's a bit of a guilty pleasure one.
I will have, it's like, and it's not even me trying to like stretch it, like, because how I judge films is how I emotionally feel about it on the first viewing, and when I first watched Signs, I just had a really like emotional experience with it, oddly enough.
How old were you?
I was like 16, 17.
See, I saw it when it came out, when it was in the cinema.
When you were being 7.
Yeah, me and my mum went to the cinema to see it. I remember it quite vividly, because I remember the...
Alien.
No, actually the opening screen, like the title screen.
It's a great score
where
as well.
It's a really good
James
score.
Ewan Howard's score.
Where it's like the blue light with the words over it. I remember that.
It's very psycho-y in a way, I think.
I kind of felt like I was at the opticians.
yeah. No, yeah. But Signs is a weird one because I do love it. But if anyone like really criticises it, I can get it. But personally, like when I watch it, I just see all the really good things for me overshadow the really goofy and dumb things.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
So.
But then in the same token, I kind of watch it back now. Like, I watched it when it was out and I thought it was fantastic. And then I watched it back as a young adult and I was like, oh, this is stupid. But, like, kind of looking at it as an adult, I'm kind of like...
Well, like when me and you watched it.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, I'm pretty sure some of this is intentionally goofy.
Yeah.
It felt stylistic. It didn't feel like it was, like, trying to be something I think
it also helps if you know what Shyamalan's like just generally.
Yeah.
He's actually quite a funny guy anyway.
Yeah.
The fact he had the amount of sense of humour to tweet when the whole Oscars debacle happened this year. Like, I wrote the ending to the Academy Awards at Jimmy Kimmel. We got them good. The fact he has the sense of humour to say that is amazing, I think. So, yeah. And plus, The Visit was funny.
I enjoyed The Visit. There were some bits where it felt dated, and I think it will feel dated in a few years at times, but I enjoyed it.
I need to get that because I wouldn't mind watching that for like... That might help with a project that we have in mind.
Yes, I get where you're coming from there. I know what you mean.
In terms of vibe and stuff.
I quite agree. But yeah, I think we should...
Which we won't get into because that's definitely going to be a surprise when that happens.
Yeah, definitely. I don't, like you said, I don't want to talk too much about that.
But Wonder Woman...
because we've sort of strayed away from that point.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Considerably there. Well, not too much, because we're still kind of on about superheroes.
Unbreakable and Split, yeah, technically.
Yeah, so it ties in. But I think...
You were weary because with things that you were anticipated for...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you...
ended up being disappointing.
Logan. Then we ended up talking about Logan with that.
And Baywatch, in a way.
No, we talked about Baywatch way before that.
No, I mean, like, Baywatch was one of those things, in a way, where I was kind of anticipating something... I don't know why.
Because we thought it was going to be really, like, legitimately funny.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure there was something else that we saw, and it wasn't that it was bad, it was just kind of okay, and I expected it to be a lot better than it was.
Oddly enough, not Alien Covenant.
Yeah, you were kind of like, oh.
A lot of people probably would have said Alien Covenant for that, but...
No, it wasn't. It was something...
If you've seen our Alien podcast, you know we were in a minority of the fact that we really enjoy that one.
Yeah.
Thoroughly.
But, yeah, so I was kind of not sure how to go into it, and obviously you were saying that you weren't really that you weren't trying to put too much thought into it until you'd seen it.
Yeah, because I'm a massive... I wouldn't say I'm a massive DC fan. I'm a huge Batman fan.
Yeah.
And I'm a really big Justice League fan. And I'm a fan of, like, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I have expressed my major disappointment with Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
I've expressed the things I really like about that film as well, but for the most part,
it's a
it's a major disappointment for me. And since that's really the only taste of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, and it's really, at that point, it's the only taste that we had of Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And again, I'm in the minority when I said this about Batman v Superman. I didn't like her in that film. I found her really... You haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it
so,
yet.
But,
I love how we say yet.
Well, because we're going to at least do the Batman discussion series, aren't we? So either way, you're going to see it at some point.
Yeah.
And, but... I know, but it's like... Because I just found her really wooden and just kind of unnecessary to the story, which didn't help her involvement at all, personally.
You were kind of like, why is she here?
Yes, so that didn't help.
Apart from to set up Justice League.
Yeah, which annoys me. Well, we got in that about cinematic universe.
Yeah, we did a full-on discussion about that in previous podcast.
I've said it also way before when me and Will discussed about the whole King Kong and Godzilla thing being a cinematic universe and stuff. But, so I was wary going into it, and I was even more wary, like, and I do want to, like, I want to kind of, like, not defend myself when I say this, but I do want to specify what I mean when I say this. I was wary when the studio was trying to look for a female director. And when I say that, I don't mean, like, a female shouldn't direct. It's a thing of, like...
I think we got, like, an hour-long debate about this last week.
To an extent. But it was, like, I was wary at the fact of, like, why are you looking for a director because they're women? And they got Michelle McLaren, which I was like, good stuff. Because, okay, I was like, okay, I'm fine with that, because she directed a few episodes of Game of Thrones, she directed a lot of good episodes of Breaking Bad, and if I am not mistaken, I believe she directed some of my favourite episodes of Walking Dead.
Right.
So I was overall fine with Michelle McLaren, not because she was a woman, but because she was
a good director.
A good director. I was like, okay, I want to see what she's like on the big screen. And then she dropped out, and I believe I remember it was like due to creative differences. And whenever a director drops out due to creative differences, I'm like, and then I get worried because Edgar Wright dropped out of Ant-Man due to creative differences. And I'm like, oh,
I have yet to see Ant-Man.
I refuse to. Purely for the fact of, like, I've just heard it's cookie cutter formula again. Yeah. I'm like, what could have been with Edgar Wright doing Ant-Man?
Yeah.
What could have really been with that? And the fact that Edgar Wright pitched the idea to do Ant-Man in 2006, 2 years before the Marvel Cinematic Universe fully kicked off anyway.
Yeah.
And then, so he had this idea before they wanted to make it a franchise thing. And they were like, go away, we want this formula. And then that's what I was worried with Wonder Woman, the fact that Michelle McLaren left due to creative differences. And I was like, oh, no. Is it just going to be a cookie cutter
Ant-Man all
formula?
over again. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they got Patty Jenkins pretty quickly as well, which made me another bit worried. I'm like, did you just try to find the nearest female director you could? And again, that worked. Again, not because I think Patty Jenkins is a bad director. Prior to Wonder Woman, I hadn't seen any of her films, so I couldn't comment.
Yeah.
Pardon me. And she directed the film Monster, which was award acclaimed, so clearly she's talented in that regard. So I was just worried about that generally, and I was going into it weary, because I wasn't sure how Gal Gadot would be as a lead, and I wasn't sure, and I was kind of worried that Warner Bros. Were just going with Patty Jenkins for the gimmick of, we got a woman directing Wonder Woman. Which I'm like, you should never do. It's going to come off worse for women if that's the case. If
it's for a gimmick.
Yeah, because I'm like, you're not thinking about it in terms of the best decision. You're thinking about it in terms of, like, marketing headlines.
I think what kind of settled... I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. What you seemed like you weren't 100% happy about it as such, but your mind kind of got settled when I was, like, telling you about it and we were reading about it. I was like, well, she is actually a big fan of Wonder Woman and she did want to do this.
I know, yeah, that as well helped as well, but it was also thinking like, yeah, but that doesn't change, like, Joss Whedon's a big fan of, like, Avengers and look how restricted he became in Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
So I was just worried, like, she could have all the passion in the world, but I was just worried that the studio was going to be like, but do this!
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, no. And again, I do want to...
But again, then that's down to the studio, because obviously you've got DC and Warner Brothers, and there's a big difference between DC and Warner Brothers and Marvel and Disney.
But either way, like, either way, I was just worried for the film anyway, like that. And I do want to also say, I've got nothing against women directing anything. I'm all for women directing. One of my top 5 favourite films ever was directed by a woman. Mary Harron directed American Psycho. So, there's that right there. I just want a good film.
You just kind of said that's not the criticism.
Yeah, it's not the criticism that they got a woman. It's a criticism that it was a criticism at the time where I'm like, did they just get a woman because
to sell tickets
to kind of trick feminists into really getting into it? Like,
yeah.
Be like, to hashtag girl power trademark copyright.
Yeah.
You know, I was worried about that more so than anything else. Clearly, it wasn't the case though, because the film was really good.
I think it's kind of really important. Fun. I think it's sort of important that they did, in a way, like, choose that director, because it's like...
In hindsight now, yeah, it's good.
And looking at, like...
Because it's proven, like, yeah, you can give women a go at these big projects as well.
But looking even at the sense of the story that they were handling...
Yeah.
Like, I think it was kind of like we were talking about this earlier, and I was saying about, like, previous scripts by other people.
Yeah.
That were written for, not necessarily this project, but written in the past for a Wonder Woman theme
like Joss
project.
Whedon's Wonder Woman
where
thing.
it's kind of like all about, like, oh, we need to teach her about sex.
Well, you get that with bad things anyway, where like an alien lands or like some stuff like that. Where it's like, this is how we drink coffee. They did that with Thor though as well, didn't they? Like in the first.
I haven't seen it.
In the first Thor, when he landed on Earth, it's like, this is coffee. It's like, what is this? And it's like it's
yeah, but there's a bit of a difference. Like, you telling a guy what coffee is, and you explain to a woman what sex is. There's clearly an ulterior motive.
Yeah, I know. I get what you mean, but it's just like.
Like it would be.
I'm not getting into that.
Yeah.
I'm not getting into that.
But we done kind of in a way with the Thor thing. It's like, oh yeah, this is it because he's not from here. But with that, it's kind of like, oh, I might be able to pull it. Yeah, I'll just.
To be fair, they did kind of.
But they handled that joke so well, I think. In the film that we got. Because they kind of like addressed the fact that people expected that and that's a trope, and they kind of turned it on itself in a way.
Yeah, and I think all the acting was actually really well done. I did like Chris Pine a lot.
Yeah. And I think what I liked as well is the relationship that they built, because it was like a thing that they worked off each other. It wasn't this necessary thing of like, oh, Diana's like leading everything and in charge of everything, or Steve's doing everything and in charge of everything. They kind of bounced off each other, and there wasn't any so much of them like bickering constantly.
No.
Of like, my way's the right way, or my way's the right way.
Yeah.
It was like there was compromise in that, and there was like I enjoyed David Thewlis as the villain. I know people were kind of like,
spoilers.
Oh, okay. We did say at the beginning we would have talked about it with spoilers.
We did.
But like, and to be fair, if you look at his credit on anything, it just says, because that's how Lewis found out. Our friend Lewis already knew that he was the villain going into it because he'd accidentally seen it on IMDb or something.
Yeah.
But I like, a lot of people are like, oh, him. Like, why would you cast him? It's like, because it makes sense. It makes so much sense.
If you watch Prince of Azkaban, you know why.
Yeah. Oh, I love that film.
I need to rewatch it.
But yeah, so...
I never rewatched the Harry Potter films anyway, to be fair.
Same. But I think I really enjoyed it. There wasn't anybody in it who I thought was bad. As such.
The villains, like, the quote-unquote villains, I felt were kind of goofy at times.
They
like
got a bit hammy at times. Yeah. You know which part I honestly thought? You know the bit where it's like...
They're gassing the people.
They gas the other German.
Throws the mask in.
And he throws the mask in.
It won't work, but they don't know that, and they go...
and then, like, run away. It was, like, proper, like, Pink Panther or something.
Yeah, it was like, really? That's what you did there? Yeah.
But, yeah, that was a bit like, oh, God. And, like you said, there was, like, the odd, like, little bit of continuity even there, or, like, things that was like, well, why did that happen?
I also do feel at some points they said what was going on as opposed to just doing...
Yeah.
Just, like
the bit my friend commented on this as well, and I found this a bit obvious. She
Lewis.
killed who? No, Erin.
Oh, right.
But she commented, like, she watched it and she said, obviously there's a part where she thinks she's killed Ares. But then it's not, it's David Thewlis. But then she has time to climb back on the roof, get a sword, and come back. And he doesn't do anything, he just stands there and waits for her to do it.
Because why would he?
I know, but it just seemed a bit like a thing of, like, if she already she'd have grabbed the sword anyway and just, like, took it because it's meant to be this really important sword, and then she just leaves it in a corpse on a roof. Like, it's kind of like you would, like,
Yeah,
take it
yeah.
out, and it was a bit of a... But they said, like, I think...
That's nitpicking, I think.
Yeah. But I was a bit like, why? That was convenient. But other than that, like, I enjoyed it. I thought acting was spot on. I liked the characters.
I liked how it was just a beginning, middle, and end. It's like, there was no setup to anything
Yeah.
else. It just was a film.
Yeah, like, the CG wasn't great, but it felt
But
like...
Do you know what? The CG wasn't great.
But the film was good enough that I didn't care.
The CG is much better in Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, but the fact that the stories were weaker compared to Wonder Woman. With Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, all we had to comment about was all we had to keep our attention was the visual effects.
Yeah.
Whereas Wonder Woman, the characters were interesting, the story was interesting enough to make us be like, to just bypass like the passable CG.
Yeah, and I didn't feel as though the fight scenes dragged on too much either.
No, not at all.
And there was like explosions and stuff, which you kind of expect now in superhero movies. It's just a bit of a thing.
But there was no beam in the sky, there was no like crumbling city, there was no like, we need to save the world from aliens dropping down and impregnating our scientists or something like that.
A scientist?
Yeah.
What's that referencing?
It's nothing, it's just...
Oh, I thought you were like actually referencing something that had happened. I was like, what film is this?
No, it's Galaxy Quest 4, that's what it was.
Galaxy Quest 4?
Yeah.
I do rather enjoy Galaxy Quest 1, I'm not going to lie.
I was like 2.
Hmm?
They haven't done it 2.
I thought you said American Psycho 2. I was like, well, you said that film was bad.
It is. There's 2 videos on this channel saying, like, of me basically saying it is bad. 3 technically.
Yeah, but there's no beams of scientists. There's just Mila Kunis in a window.
Yeah. Bill Shatner falling out of it, yeah.
You know, William Shatner.
William Shatner. No, Wonder Woman's an enjoyable one.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I want to get it when it comes out.
I think you like it more than I do, but I still like it a lot. I enjoy it a lot.
I buzz over it. If I could, I'd probably sit down and write everything I liked about it and do a full-on discussion of it on my own. But that would take far too long right now.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily quite in the mood to talk about it in depth right now.
Yeah. So it's something to bear in mind for future, but whether we will or not, I don't know.
I mean, we could always...
No promises!
But yeah.
I'll Shane Ward this one and pop it there.
And I'm just... It's made me be optimistic towards Justice League, because it's like, I could have taken or leaving Wonder Woman being bad or good, in all honesty. But with Justice League, it's like Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
I've been waiting so long for a Justice League film.
I'm not getting too optimistic.
No, as a guy who loved the animated series and got of Batman and got really hooked on the Justice League animated series.
I didn't know there was one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's how I discovered it. It was in the same style of animation. I believe it was on Fox Kids, oddly enough, not Cartoon Network, which I don't know why.
Okay.
I guess Jetix /
Spider-Man.
Yeah, but that was on Jetix and Fox Kids,
Yeah.
wasn't it? So I guess like Jetix got rights to Justice League and Cartoon Network didn't. I don't know. But I do remember liking that a lot, and that's what got me interested in like Wonder Woman and Superman and Martian Manhunter. I got interested in Martian Manhunter.
Mila Kunis.
Green Lantern got me interested in that with Justice League. So for the longest amount of time, I've always wanted a Batman and Superman film, and I got that, and it was disappointing because all I wanted was just a Batman and Superman film, not a setup to everything else. And I've always wanted a Justice League film, and I'm cautious with this one, but I'm also... Yeah. I can't help but to be excited about it. I really can't help about it. That's also going to be in our Batman discussion series anyway, because Batman's in it. But I'm aware because George Miller was going to direct a Justice League film.
Yeah.
Which, think about it now, I would really like him to have done
a
Justice League film, because he showed with Fury Road that he's still badass as a director, considering he's 72 this year. Yeah. Is mental as well.
And I would honestly say that's probably one of my top 20 probably of movies. So
I love the Mad Max franchise as a whole anyway, and Fury Road's by far the best one. Well, he did all of them, to be fair, as well. So because I really liked the first one, I really liked Road Warrior. I'm not as hateful towards Beyond Thunderdome anymore.
It's my guilty pleasure, that movie.
But it's
so 80s, I love it.
It's by far the worst one for me. Like, without a doubt.
Oh, speaking of abysmal films, you've just reminded me. You won't be able to weigh in on this one very much, I don't think, but was telling you about this the other day, and just when we talk about like me having a break in between films and things, technically I didn't, because I watched the remake of Dirty Dancing. And oh my god, what a horrendous film that was. Why did anyone get involved in that?
It was a TV movie, wasn't it?
It was a made-for-TV film starring Abigail Breslin, Nicole Scherzinger, and several unknowns. And there's a guy in it who plays the dad, and I'm pretty sure he's in everything. He's a bit like that actor from The Dark Knight.
What, Eric Roberts?
Yeah, he kind of just turns up in things this guy. I think he's been in a couple of hundred films.
Imagine if it was Eric Roberts.
It's not, but it's
imagine,
close. I'm going to look this guy up and see who he is.
But imagine if Eric Roberts played him.
It wouldn't surprise me. I'm pretty sure this is a guy who always plays, like, you know when you get, like, Disney movies where the dad's never around? Because he's always, like, on a business trip or something at Christmas, and then he comes home and he's like, oh, I love you all, really, I've been shown the spirit of Christmas.
I just showed Sophie a photo of Daniel Bryan with his baby. That's what I was going to about.
Let's have a look at this person. Who is this actor? I'm sure I've seen him. Oh, Bruce Greenwood, what's he been in? He was in Star Trek. He was in iRobot. He was in Batman Under the Red Hood.
So he voiced a guy then?
Was he Batman?
No.
He was Batman.
He was Batman Under the Red Hood.
Yeah, he was Batman in the Red Hood. He's been in like 145 movies, which isn't as much as I thought. But he's still been
a lot.
He's still been in a lot. He turns up in all sorts. So he was in it. And for anyone who's kind of familiar with the original Dirty Dancing, it's a pretty basic plot with a few kind of, like, heavy concepts thrown in there. But the whole gist of it is, teenage girl goes away with her family at, like, a summer camp and falls in love with a dancer. And there's, like, a storyline. Basically, she ends up having to dance with him because his partner, not, like, romantic partner, his dance partner, is accidentally pregnant and has to have an abortion, and she can only have an abortion on this night where they have to dance in this hotel.
Heavy stuff.
So she learns how to dance and they fall in love, basically, and the whole thing's because it's set in like the 60s. It's like she's meant to be like a good girl, and she ends up doing that, and it's all about just their romance. But in the new movie, the new made-for-TV film, it's all about their relationship and the breakdown of her parents' marriage because they don't have sex anymore, and a sister being involved in an interracial relationship, and the guy who's like the hotel owner's son, who's kind of a bit of an asshole in the original, but in this one he's conflicted emotionally, and then Johnny, who's like Patrick Swayze's character in the original.
Damn it, Johnny!
Yeah. He's basically, like, damn it, Johnny, is, like, in the original he's a bit of a bad boy, but he's none of that, and in this one he twats cars, he steals cars, well, the phrase is Grand Theft Auto, which I found quite funny, and he does all this
just
stuff.
pops up, Julia!
But he does all this stuff, and he's, like, troubled, and then you've got, in the original as well, there's like this thing where he's getting paid by this older woman to basically sleep with her. She's like a cougar. But in this one, the cougar has feelings, and we need to explore that in a song. Oh, it's a musical also. I should probably
is it?
Add that in there, yeah. So it's basically the soundtrack from the original film. So like She's Like the Wind by Patrick Swayze and Hungry Eyes and I've Had the Time of My Life.
I was just about to say,
except it's the cast singing it instead of the song.
Ugh.
And they're all really horribly auto-tuned. Like, really, really badly.
Yeah.
And it just, like, the original movie was about an hour and a half, I think. And this one's, like, over 2 hours. Because they've just added all this extra subplot in. And there's, like, this really weird part where, like, the dad kind of, like, he goes to breakfast and no one wants to eat with him because he's an arsehole.
He goes to Brexit?
Yeah, he goes to Brexit and no one wants to talk to him because he's an arsehole, so his family are all off doing other things. So he goes to find his wife who's sat outside talking to her girlfriends about cheating husbands. And then they go for a picnic in a boat, and then they have sex, and their 2 children walk in and think it's hilarious. And they start giggling, and they're like, oh, we need to leave. Ah. And they dress Abigail Breslin in the most horrendous clothing ever. Everything's, like, doesn't fit.
Yeah.
It's all, like, really baggy. And then, like, in the original, it's a really, like, nice ending. Like, they do their final dance and they're in love and everyone's really accepting of each other and it's just happy. In this one, they try to turn it into, like...
La La Land.
the end of La La Land. Like, they have their final dance, and then it cuts, and she's watching him in a theatre, and then she goes to see him afterwards, and he's like, I can't believe it's you. And then it's like...
La La Land, it fits really well.
And then this little girl runs in, she's like, Mommy! And she's like, this is my daughter, this is Johnny, da, da. And then her husband comes in like, oh, you Johnny Castle? And then he's stood there looking absolutely devastated, and she's trying not to cry, and then it cuts to her holding her daughter's hand walking outside, and then it like does a freeze frame on her face, like, and then it plays like a song from the film, and she can't dance, and the guy can kind of dance because I think he's a professional dancer from what I understand, and Nicole Scherzinger can dance, but no one has any chemistry whatsoever. It's just the worst. Why? I don't know why. There's like...
Does it count as a 2017 film then?
It is a 2017 film.
There you go, you've got another film on your list then.
Yeah. Oh god, yes I do. I never thought about that. After
is that worse than Baywatch?
It is, honestly.
Yeah, okay.
If you like next time you come to my house, I won't make you watch it all.
Please don't.
You won't watch it all, but we'll do a quick run through. I'll just show you the trailer after we've finished this podcast.
Just show me the trailer at some point. Not tonight. I can't bother with that.
But it's abysmal. I love Abigail Breslin, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, she's top.
It's an abysmal film. I like Nicole Scherzinger as well.
I have zero feelings towards Nicole Scherzinger.
But
didn't she go out with Lewis Hamilton once?
Yeah, that's not all she's known for.
Well, no, but I know
she's a singer.
Pussycat doll.
Pussycat doll.
Your words jumbled up.
Yeah, but yeah, she's I like her and I like Abigail Breslin, but the film was just absolutely abysmal, and my mum thinks it's really funny, and I just think it's awful. And I kind of made up for it because I watched the remake. I'm saying the reimagining of the BFG afterwards, and I really enjoyed that. So. Yeah,
with Steven Spielberg's directed.
Yeah, and Mark Rylance being all fabulous and great.
Being all fabulous.
Yeah, he is. He's fantastic. I love him. And revisited that good old film You've Got Mail that you have yet to watch.
I've yet to watch You've Got Mail. You've yet to watch Love Exposure as well.
Yeah, so that's our next two films. That's like our next two films for each other. Love Exposure from you. That sounds really bad, doesn't it?
What, Love Exposure?
Like you're gonna do some Love Exposure. But yeah, that's
I'm
next
gonna
to me.
I'm gonna sit you down and get you to watch a 4-hour long Japanese film.
Yeah, we'll do it on a free day.
Yeah, which I say it like that and it sounds like a chore.
It won't be. I know it won't be. I know you wouldn't make me watch. Well, you're not making me watch it. I know you wouldn't recommend it to me if it wasn't good.
I wouldn't tell you I wouldn't tell you that we need to watch it together.
If we can sit through WrestleMania, we can sit through this.
I was just about to say WrestleMania has a lot of things going on though. It's like a lot of the time it doesn't actually.
This year it didn't.
This year was actually not bad, Mania.
It wasn't bad, but it was like...
It's better than last year's. Jesus Christ.
I'm glad I missed out on that.
God, that was not good. It had... Tell you what, last year's WrestleMania had 2 really good matches.
Between...
I had a triple threat match with Charlotte, Sasha and Becky Lynch.
Oh, that says something.
Which might be the best women's match I've ever seen. And then there was a ladder match with like 7 guys, so that was just exciting.
Yeah.
Because it had like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and The Miz, Zack Ryder, Stardust, who's Cody Rhodes, and Sin Cara.
What combination.
I know. And then like AJ Styles and Jericho had a pretty good match that evening as well.
But they're both good showmen, so that's understandable.
But then like Roman and Triple H main evented the whole show, and I was just bored. Just bored, sickless.
I'd heard about that, but I didn't realise it was last year.
Yeah, and then like Undertaker and Shane McMahon had a Hell in a Cell match.
Why?
which only happened because...
So Shane could jump off something big.
Yeah, and because everyone else that really Undertaker would have faced was injured at the time.
Yeah.
Because that was during a bad time for injury for WWE.
Yeah.
Because Cena was injured, Seth Rollins was injured, Cesaro was injured, Randy Orton was injured.
Sheamus and Cesaro.
And yeah. No, this year wasn't actually bad though in terms of like stuff that happened.
Yeah. I mean, it'll never be like the days when it was like Shawn Michaels and stuff, but...
For me,
I'm saying that, but it might be. I don't know, it depends.
I mean, the talent that they got, they all have the potential to, but I just think it's certain like creative decisions that they just need to really shape up with.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Seth Rollins definitely has the potential to just be the Shawn Michaels of this generation.
Yeah.
In complete honesty, but they're not really going forth with him. It's weird because after WrestleMania, I said to you, like, he's like the biggest superstar right now from beating Triple H clean.
Yeah.
But no one seems to be running
No one's
with
commented
that.
on it, have they?
Like,
he's got like the Kingslayer thing, but it's not even like a big deal.
like, no one brings it up. People say, like, oh, he had a thing with Samoa Joe, but it's like, no one's talking about him as the superstar as he should be.
Yeah.
Like, this is a guy who fought back injury twice and then took out Triple H clean.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
it was a big thing for a long time.
Which never happens. It's like, why isn't that a huge... Like, Triple H, like, put over Seth Rollins clean?
Yeah. It's just, I don't really get it, in all honesty.
Like, I really don't understand.
And they've just ruined Bayley, really.
Oh, they've destroyed her. She's afraid of a stick.
Of course.
Yeah.
She's like a hypochondriac.
So stupid. Hey, it's made Alexa Bliss look really good.
Yeah. I can take her or leave her.
No, I'm a fan of Alexa Bliss, I would say.
She's not a bad wrestler.
No, I think she's pretty good in the ring and she's excellent character work. Like, she's got charisma for days.
I think her character just irritates me, and I think that's
good,
what the issue is.
Because she's actually not really like that.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's playing off like that as a heel is
I mean, I think
brilliant.
I remember seeing her live, and she didn't really have much she didn't have much resonance with me. But then
she's
again,
definitely
I did see
approved,
Asuka.
so she's been one of the most approved people since.
It wasn't that she was bad, just the matches she was in wasn't great.
Yeah.
And Asuka was there also, so that kind of overshadowed everything.
Yeah. Would you say Asuka's your favourite female wrestler?
She's my top 3.
Who would you say is your favourite women's wrestler? Like linked?
They're not ordered.
Well, who's your 3 then?
Charlotte.
I know you're 2. It's Charlotte and Asuka, but who's your other one?
Sasha.
Oh, okay. Would you say Asuka's your favourite Japanese wrestler?
Well,
because now we're breaking genders. We're talking about.
It's really hard to say because there's no like real women's wrestling in Japan, as such.
Why just say Japanese wrestler? Didn't necessarily mean gender.
No, but I mean like in terms of because women's wrestling I always find has a very different atmosphere to male wrestling. Because there's like with male wrestling there's all the testosterone, whereas with women's wrestling it's just different. It's really hard to describe what I mean.
Mm.
But it's a different kind of spectacle in a way.
Yeah.
Like I always take away something different from a match. Say when if it was like Sasha and Charlotte, I would take away something different than I would if it was like Nakamura and Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I would say she's my favourite female Japanese wrestler, but she's the only one I've really seen.
She's the only female Japanese wrestler.
But in terms of favourite Japanese wrestlers, I am a massive fan of Nakamura.
Yeah.
I do enjoy Kota Ibushi.
Ibushi might be my favourite, in complete honesty.
I enjoyed Shibata. When...
Katsuyori Have you seen a match of his?
Yeah, I have. I've seen 2.
Which ones?
There was one you had on... The one where he got injured. We watched that.
You didn't watch that fully, though, with me?
Well, I watched parts of it.
The one with him and Okada. The one where he headbutted up...
I've watched one. I've definitely watched one with him, and I watched one.
He had a match with Hiroki Goto at Wrestle Kingdom. That was the
I've seen that.
Dome show. Yeah,
I saw that, and then you showed me part of a match.
I showed you headbutt.
Yeah, but I've seen something other than that, and I can't remember which match it was, but I've definitely seen something other than that.
Might be an inverse bad luck. I don't know. Shibata.
I enjoy.
I almost said R.I.P. He's not dead. He might be retired.
His career might be.
He very most likely. New Japan want to sign him as a full-time trainer, apparently.
But in terms of like New Japan, a lot of the wrestlers who I enjoy watching are American or Canadian.
Yeah, you go. Because Kenny Omega is a Canadian.
Yeah.
Canadian.
But I enjoy watching Cody Rhodes as well. Or Cody, as he's known now.
He's Cody Rhodes.
He's Cody Rhodes. I enjoy watching him.
Well, he's barely in New Japan.
Yeah. And I enjoy the Young Bucks, and I enjoy Adam Cole.
Yeah. Well, he's not in there anymore.
He's not now. What's happening? What's the crack?
He's just currently floating in independent obscurity, purely probably just waiting for
NXT.
For that moment to happen. Like, he's probably going to be like surprise. He's not going to be like what happened with Drew McIntyre or Bobby Roode, where Bobby Roode got introduced to the NXT audience when like, they just panned over and he was just sat in the audience.
Just
in a
chilling.
suit. Yeah, he was like... And
I'm here.
And everyone just lost their mind. It was like... And then the same kind of happened with Drew McIntyre, didn't it? With NXT TakeOver, they just panned to see Drew McIntyre just sat in a suit. Like... I just smiled and nodded my head. So I don't think they're going to do that with Adam Cole. They're probably just going to wait for, like, a surprise or something like that. Because as far as I'm aware, he's left Ring of Honor. He's had his final match with PWG.
Yeah.
He's not coming back to New Japan now. Because what's left for him, really?
Yeah,
he's
done what
I guess people can say a match with Kenny Omega, but
But at the minute, the whole push for that at the minute's...
Well, Kenny Omega's in a completely different place than doing that right now anyway.
Yeah.
If anything, it looks like more of a civil feud, like a civil war as such, between Omega and Cody.
Yeah.
In a way, but...
Yeah, well, from the match the other night that we watched...
Which was...
I got that vibes.
Which was amazing.
It was amazing. It was 6.2, lots of amazing.
But not even including the rating, I just think it was it's match of the year for me, personally.
Oh, it was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was just different. I enjoyed it. It was more intense. Everything was just...
The fact, like, when, like, we're on about the Dominion match now between Okada and Omega, the fact, like, when it got announced, like, half an hour's passed, and we were like...
Has it?
And we were like, yeah, and I'm like, and I remember saying, you're like, yeah, like, just think about that and think about how many, like, just under 20-odd minute matches, WWE matches we've watched within the past few months.
Well, we've been absolutely bored out of our minds.
We've been like, how long? And then we find out it's been like 15 minutes. I was like, really?
Or like, how long's this going to go on for before we get a main event?
Yeah. That's what most of these pay-per-views feel like these days. It's like, we'll just get the main event.
It's very rare. I actually enjoyed most of the matches. I think the last thing where that happened, I really enjoyed the last, was it Payback or Backlash? Last.
What, before Extreme Rules?
No, it was Extreme Rules. Sorry, yeah. I enjoyed most of Extreme Rules.
Extreme Rules was, for the most part, enjoyable because Dean and Miz had a...
I loved that match. I thought that was fun.
That was a nice traditional feeling match, I felt. Like, it felt like an old school 80s match, oddly enough.
Yeah, and I think they do... I'm glad they're utilising Miz the way they are now.
I like them. I really like the Miz. Like he's made... Odd enough, because he made Dolph Ziggler interesting again. And since he's made Dean Ambrose interesting again...
His gimmick should be career saver.
It should be, in a way. He's not the best wrestler, but he just makes a lot of intrigue.
He's charismatic.
He's charismatic, and he knows how to... He actually knows how to wrestle in a safe way that's really interesting.
And how to make himself and his opponent look good.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Because he doesn't just do it in the sense of he's trying to look good all the time. Like, he does it where what he's doing, it looks great.
He doesn't...
But he doesn't try and overshadow the other person.
Well, he gets back... He knows how to, like, sell offense from Dean and, like, Dolph and John Cena and stuff like that. So he's good. I mean, there's points in time when I think I'm like, I would be fine with Miz holding the WWE World title now.
Yeah. Because he's kind of been chasing the Intercontinental for, like, quite a while.
I get it in a sense, because his whole thing is, like, I'm making this title prestigious again.
Oh, yeah, totally
so
get that.
I get that, because it's a prestigious title that hasn't felt prestigious in a long time. And in all honesty, since he's held it, it's like, it does feel just like...
Yeah, it's got more weight to it.
It feels more... Yeah. And since he's won the title again, I'm happy that he's got the title again, but it's like... I kind of almost want him to have kind of like a Bobby Roode-esque thing where he's like, I'm making this place awesome.
Can you imagine the ego clash
with those two? It would be great. Like, Bobby Roode's like, I'm making NXT glorious, and then he's like, I'm making the Intercontinental title awesome.
And you know what? I think they've actually made quite a good choice. Since Undertaker's unfortunate retirement, they've kind of backed off on Roman a bit.
Yeah.
He's still there, but he hasn't, I'm going to be honest, in the past few, we haven't been watching, like, Raw or wherever.
No.
But in the past few pay-per-views, we've
got
watched,
mauled by
he hasn't felt in your face as much.
There was that one moment where everyone else was kind of fine and he was just standing in the ring in Extreme Rules and he was like...
And he still got trashed, though.
Oh, yeah. I think, like...
He was there, but he didn't feel in your face.
Yeah, it wasn't like Roman's dominating LOL. Like,
He was just there.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the time I've been a bit like, can we move on? I'm sick of seeing your face, mate.
When he does his, like, shaking head thing when he's Romaning up.
Yeah, when he shakes his jowls at the camera.
And then he does the ooh ah, and then he wanks his fist
I don't
off
think
a
wanks his fist.
He goes.
I don't think he hasn't improved. Like, he's not any better.
No,
He's not any better in my opinion. I just mean in the sense of, like, I'm glad they haven't been jamming him down my throat for the past few months since Mania.
Ugh, yeah.
He did that short interview and then he got absolutely, like, mauled to death by Braun Strowman.
And then Braun Strowman unfortunately got injured.
Do you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm looking forward to Lesnar's match.
Oh, Lesnar and Joe?
Yeah.
Because Lesnar and Joe is interesting because Joe is not afraid of him. And the fact that Joe kicked him in the face and was like, yeah, what you gonna do? The fact that Joe kind of shoved Lesnar on his arse.
He did a Goldberg, but like times 10.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, and I'm glad it's Joe as well, because it's like, thank God that Joe's just like...
And he's kind of like, do you know what's quite cool? Because he's new, but in a way he's not, because he's been on the scene for so long.
Well, I've known about him since like 10 years ago in TNA. Like,
so I mean, he's been on the wrestling scene for such a long time, so they're not like
He's a Ring of Honor legend. He's mastered in Japanese wrestling as well.
Yeah.
He's like...
And you see, it's sort of, they're not like trying to play him as a noob.
No.
They're like playing him as like, he kind of comes off as a bit like, he's like this wandering traveller and...
He's almost like a warrior that goes from town to town, just like claiming his land almost.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're here, Brock, I can beat you.
Yeah.
He's probably not.
And I like that.
I guarantee he's not going to beat Brock, but it's going to be a competitive match.
It's going to be interesting to watch, I hope.
Well, yeah, because both of them kind of have an MMA kind of style, and both of them are just kind of like, we're big dudes that will just punch each other in the face. And there's just a moment, like, and there will be a moment, what they can do, they can do a moment like what happened with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, where like in mid-match they can just go forehead to forehead and just look pissed off at each other.
There's two of my favourite wrestlers currently also.
Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Tyler Bate might be my favourite British wrestler right now. It's difficult because I do love Jimmy Havoc as well.
Yeah.
I really do like Jimmy
I really
Havoc,
like Pete Dunne.
but I really like Tyler Bate.
I really like both of them. I like Trent Seven, but not on the level that I like Tyler Bate.
Have you lessened on Trent Seven now?
I really like him. I've seen more of Pete Dunne.
I was going to say, is it because like you just Trent Seven hasn't done as much in?
It's not that. It's just that I hadn't seen much of Pete Dunne.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen more of him.
What swayed you? Was it this takeover match that he had?
Yeah.
Mm.
That was one of my probably top matches for this year.
Oh, it's like, yeah. Oddly enough, some of my favourite matches, if I can think like my top 5 favourite matches of this year so far, 2 of the matches are Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, and 2 of them are Okada and Omega.
Yeah. And
the other one's Okada and Shibata. Yeah. So, it's...
But no, I really, really like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate.
Yeah.
And I do like Trent Seven, but I just...
He's charismatic.
He's charismatic as you like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just the 3 of them collectively, they're
all
all good.
I like the 3 of them. I kind of wish, like... It's kind of hard to say, but I just, like, kind of wish, like, WWE would showcase other guys, as opposed to, like, just...
I was literally just thinking that.
As opposed to just, like, giving, like, British Strong Style a bit of a hand job.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it makes sense having Dunne because he's holding the title, and it made sense having Tyler Bate because he was, but it's like, they had Wolfgang, didn't they, I think?
Wolfgang, who's one of the biggest guys in ICW, which is one of the bigger promotions
but we've had, like,
Britain.
No Joseph Connors.
Who I've been disappointed by, because I do love me some Joseph Connors, and we had the EDL man. He's not actually part of the EDL, but everyone always says... Sam Gradwell.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him.
Everyone knows, they just see a bald guy and go, EDL.
Well, we had a joke. Well, I did a Dafflo joke when, like, Danny Burch, when it was Danny Burch versus Pete Dunne on NXT, and Danny Burch came out, and I just made a joke going like, I love you, Kip.
Yeah, him and all. They both had it when the UK tournament was on Twitter, was just full of it.
Yeah.
Although there is, like, obviously we attend WCPW, and I can't remember the dude's name, but it was the one everyone was calling Mr. Brexit.
Doug Williams. Well, that was his gimmick.
Was that his gimmick?
Yeah.
Initially, or was it like a thing of like it just became his gimmick?
No, his thing was to get cheap heat. Was like, I love Brexit. But now he's a babyface because he is a legitimate British wrestling legend.
Yeah.
And his whole gimmick now is like he's just the ambassador of British wrestling.
Yeah.
But I think it was just a thing of like, because his whole thing was like, all these foreigners coming in and taking our wrestling jobs. Well, I'm going to show you what true British wrestling's about. That's what his old gimmick was.
Yeah. Here's a question for you on that note. Who have you put your bet on for Money in the Bank to win the match between Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal?
Jinder Mahal. I'll say it straight face. I'll put Jinder Mahal to retain his title.
Of course.
He's going to go to...
You say you've backed Jinder all the way.
I have. Well, of course. I have to.
He's Jinder. Jinder
Mahal. But no, I think... It wouldn't surprise me if Randy Orton wins the title back, because in every pay-per-view title defense, the WWE title has changed hands this year.
I don't want him to, though.
Every pay-per-view defense. Literally. Royal Rumble. John Cena beat AJ Styles. Elimination Chamber. Bray Wyatt won the Elimination Chamber. WrestleMania. Randy Orton beat Bray Wyatt to get the title. Backlash. Jinder Mahal beat Randy Orton.
Did he beat him? Or did he just take it?
Who? Jinder?
Was that the one where he just took the title
No,
and
no.
decided...
I mean in Backlash, when the title actually got defended.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Beat Randy Orton. If Jinder Mahal beats Randy Orton, he would break that mold for 2017. He's the only... If Jinder Mahal wins the match at Money in the Bank, beating Randy Orton, then Jinder Mahal is the first person... It would be the first time the WWE World title will be retained on a pay-per-view in 2017.
That's fantastic.
By bloody Jinder Mahal, if that happens.
Oh, happen. Please happen.
But surely, if they want to push this whole Indian market, surely they're not going to take it away from him already.
Well, it would just be redundant giving it him to take it away.
And not, like, so quickly as well.
Yeah. And then it's kind of like then they're back to hot potato in it again.
Like, let him have it for a while and let him keep it until WrestleMania. Do a Brock Lesnar with Jinder Mahal. Make Jinder Mahal the Punjabi Brock Lesnar.
Have him fight Sami Zayn.
And have him beat Sami Zayn.
Oh.
To purely get the booze on Jinder.
Yeah.
Because you... Like, how... Just you doing that right now, they want a good heel, don't they? Have him squash Sami Zayn.
Oh, bless.
I don't want that.
I don't. I love Sami, but...
And I don't want Sami Zayn to be in a squash match with a guy who was a jobber months ago.
Yeah. That was an interesting thing when we were kind of looking back on that.
Yeah.
When he kind of came out of nowhere and he beat Randy, we were like, what's happening?
Like, it's like his last pay-per-view match before winning the WWE title was being pushed over by the Gronk at WrestleMania and the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. When Mojo Rawley, the man, the myth, the legend, won
What's he doing these days?
He's getting interviewed being like, yeah, I'm happy. Legit.
I'm hyped.
I'm staying hyped.
I'm still hyped, guys.
He main evented SmackDown against Jinder the other week, I think. Where Jinder won, so, you know.
Of course.
The rivalry continues.
The rivalry continues between Jinder Mahal and Mojo Rawley.
Hey.
Much hype.
Adam Pacitti, I know you love Mojo Rawley, but I got back my guy Jinder. Calling you out, Pacitti. With your stapled ass cheek.
Are you trying to start a feud with Adam Pacitti?
Listen, Pacitti. With your dumb glasses and your...
Says the person who's sat wearing glasses right now that aren't very different from Adam Pacitti's glasses.
With your dumb glasses and your...
Man body.
And your stapled ass cheek.
You haven't got one of them, so I guess that's...
Look at you. What are you?
He's the what culture general. He's not the what culture
general.
Yeah,
you're not even that anymore, Pacitti. What are you doing? Bring it on.
Censoring Jack the Jobber.
Yeah. Aoi Pacitti, bring it on. I'll beat you up. Werner Herzog sucks. There you go. He likes Werner Herzog.
Oh, okay.
And Andy Kaufman was really good. I agree with you on that. Andy Kaufman was pretty top. I actually like Werner Herzog.
You actually like Adam Pacitti? You're just pretending that you want to fight him for some reason.
No, I don't. I hate Pacitti. I like Parmesan. Bring it on. Martin Kirby for life.
He's lying. He wants to name his dog after you.
I do like you, Adam Pacitti, but I don't. That was a joke. If you want to accept my fight, Pacitti, tweet me. Get me free.
Oh, then tweet us.
Tweet us. And if you want me to fight you face to face, get me free tickets to the next WCPW show in Newcastle. Then we'll talk.
Afterwards, after the show's
Tickets
finished.
for 3. Book us at a hotel as well, preferably the Premier Inn at the gate.
What has this become?
It's me calling Alan Pacini and trying to get us free tickets to the next WCPW
That's
show.
That's what this was all in.
That's
of.
all
This, do you know what this stemmed from? Jinder Mahal. This stemmed from Jinder Mahal.
I love you, Pacini. And Plumpy.
And Jinder.
And Jinder.
Give the Jobber some love.
I like Jack the Jobber as well. I don't know what Gary's got against Jack the Jobber.
I don't understand.
That's not even causing beef. That's legitimately a thing that happened for a while, wasn't it? Like, Gary just had beef against Jack the Jobber.
For no apparent reason.
For no reason. I'm sorry, Jack, but you know.
And then now and again, he just kind of be sat here and be like, Jack the Jobber.
I'm like, I thought you didn't like him. It's like, don't! It's like, Jesus Christ, Gary. But I think what it is because Gary's essentially the Jack the Jobber.
I think he feels threatened.
Yeah, like there can only be one. Does that make you the Plumpy?
Must do.
If I'm the Pacini.
That's totally arse crack.
He did staple his arse crack.
I'm taking it one step beyond.
He did close his arse up by just stapling his arse. That would be even more painful.
Oh, Jesus.
Like closing his
That's
bum.
like human centipede territory there.
Almost, yeah. Do you have anything else to say?
Well, I want to apologise for the very loud noise. We've got a freight train going past at the moment.
Well,
it's gone now. But yeah, no, I think we've in the 2 hours and 10 minutes that this podcast's gone on for.
How do you feel about this one?
I feel alright. I
You're
enjoyed it. I kind of zoned out on the fact we were doing a podcast. In all honesty, for some parts, we kind of just had a conversation.
Did you prefer that?
I think it's a happy medium. I think it's a happy.
I do want to ask you one last because we kind of moved away from this. What were your actual opinions on the Okada and Omega thing?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good.
Because you did
it all
watch
looked
the
really
first
legit.
one.
None of it felt like
was there
any
specific moments?
Oh, there was a bit. I can't remember if he kicked him or he punched him or something. He
something.
kneed him, and there was that in the table.
Oh, the table spot. Yeah.
Table spot was good. Some of the technical work on the floor where they were kind of just there was a pin and then a save. The defense was really good in this one, I thought.
Mm-hmm.
The offense is always good anyway. They're always really good at that. But I just felt like the defense, it was just everything was really fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was one sort of thing where it was I think there was a pin and then they rolled out and then they rolled over his. I think Omega rolled over Okada's back or vice versa. I can't remember. They did this really acrobatic looking thing. But it wasn't like anything. It wasn't a big move. It just looked like a big move. And I think they do it really well by taking something quite simple and making it look a lot bigger than it is.
I think because Omega is a incredible seller.
I love him
as well. I'm more of an Ibushi guy, which is going to make it so emotional when Omega and Ibushi inevitably, hopefully, have their match now. I'll give you a bit of a history on their thing after the whole podcast because it is a true story.
Yeah.
Their whole relationship. And just imagine a match between them now, though.
Yeah.
Because they did have a match, because I started showing you that match, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
But that was before Bullet Club and before either of them got... That wasn't even in New Japan. So that's how long ago that was. But yeah, no,
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the match.
But you like Omega?
I do.
Would you say he's your favourite?
He's in my top 10.
Okay.
I have a top 10 of male wrestlers.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more of them to go around, I think.
Yeah. For me, what were your opinions on the fact that it was an hour draw?
It worked.
Yeah.
It just felt like there was a lot more at stake.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of a thing because they're both quite prideful characters.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
That was the whole point, and it worked. I think if that had been anybody else, it would have been a bit of a piss take.
Yeah.
It would have been a bit oh, come on.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It was satisfying.
Well, I think the fact you don't get draws these days anyway. You really get hour-long matches anyway.
Yeah.
Unless it was an hour
and
long
match. It didn't end up being interference, but I loved the part where it was Cody was coming out.
Pure storytelling where Cody was I'm going to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was great storytelling aspect of it. No, but my favourite spot of the whole match, my favourite moment, and a lot of people's favourite moment as well, when Okada was going to go for what felt like the bazillionth Rainmaker, because the amount of bloody Rainmakers Omega took with this one. went for a Rainmaker, and Omega didn't duck. He just passed out. Like, he just collapsed.
Yeah,
and then
that was a good one.
And then Okada went flying. And I love that so much because it shows, like, how much power Okada puts into his Rainmaker. Because a lot of people kind of criticise it, to being like, it's just a wrist lock lariat. And, like, I get it. It's like that and then a clothesline. But the fact he missed and he just essentially went flying.
Yeah.
I was like thinking, he really just put that much.
And the last few seconds of the match as well, I felt like it was just, everything was like, come on, someone do something.
Well, towards the end of it, like when like the last Rainmaker got hit and Okada was crawling towards it, and you went like, someone just pin!
Yeah.
Like, and then, but like another moment which I love when Omega finally hit Okada with the one-winged angel.
Yeah.
Finally.
That was good.
And they went 1, 2, and then Okada got his foot on the rope.
Oh, that, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
my God.
then you could just see Omega just like, no!
He's like,
no!
for God's sake!
No! I just remember you, because you went like, that would be tragic. Or something like, you said something like that. I can't remember what exactly you said. Like, you just said that would be tragic happening. It's like, I feel like this is definitely like, between this and Nakamura and Ibushi 2, I'll say Nakamura and Ibushi 2 because there was 2 matches. There's only been 2 matches, but between those two, those are my favourite New Japan match. I think I prefer Ibushi and Nakamura more because I can just watch that more. Because I can't. It's an effort. It would be an effort just to be like, let me just put on an hour-long match. Even though it flies by pretty quickly, it's still a bit of a sit down to watch. But I just think it's pure wrestling storytelling at its finest. That doesn't feel boring at all.
Yeah.
And for me, it's also one of these things where it's like, I said it before, it's the Empire Strikes Back to their Tokyo Dome Star Wars 1977.
Yeah.
Like, it's the Dark Knight to their trilogy or whatever like that. It's like the Empire Strikes Back and such and such and such. But yeah, just want to get that discussed because I wanted to talk.
It was a big
about,
thing, and it was
the fact it's kind of been the main talk on the wrestling world recently.
Yeah,
and,
but it has been for a while since the first match, really.
Yeah, and the talks of rematch are now even bigger talks on their third match.
Do you think they'll do like a three match?
They're doing a trilogy.
Yeah,
they're definitely doing a trilogy. I don't know how they will end it.
That'd be interesting to see.
I don't know if it will end on Omega winning or if it will end on Okada purely being like, yeah, I am the better man.
It would kind of work out in story favour, in a way, if you had... This is just a speculation because it depends what I'm doing. But if they're setting up this whole thing of like there's a bit of a thing going on between Omega and Cody kind of thing. If they had Okada win, but kind of have some involvement with Cody, maybe costing Omega that and then setting up that.
A lot of people kind of said like, oh, maybe like Cody would win the IWGP title, which I think is where he doesn't quite deserve it just yet, I don't think. And then have like Omega and Cody. Yeah. And then have like Omega defend his title against Okada in the main event of the next Tokyo Dome show.
Yeah.
Which I think's a bit, I don't know. But like...
It's a bit contrived and all.
Yeah, I would kind of like it to end with, once again, Okada defending his title against Omega, Omega winning, and then kicking off Omega and Ibushi.
Yeah.
Which I would like, but again, I don't want to speculate because I just...
Yeah, you just never know what's going to happen, I don't think, really.
With this one, I don't want to because I just want to wait.
It's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
As is.
Yeah. But how do you feel how this podcast is kind of like... happen because it was your idea to have it more like this of a structure.
I mean, I enjoyed it more. I found it quite fun. We fit quite a lot in, I think, considering what we initially wanted to talk about.
Well, this is now by far the longest Heelcast we've ever done as well.
Yeah. So we fit quite a bit in. I mean, how do you feel?
I like it.
You like it?
I like it. I don't mind it. Yeah. I also think this format might be better when we have Gary as well.
Yeah, because it gives Gary more room to discuss things, I think.
I think it's important if we do have something to start with.
Yeah. But I think it's good if you've kind of got, you've got a semi-structure but not a full one, because then obviously there's a lot of things that we participate in or that we watch or whatever that Gary doesn't necessarily do. Or you might watch things when we're both not here. And, it ends where we kind of don't really have much to talk about or one of us doesn't really have much to talk about. So if there's, that open... space where you can chip in with random things and other things, then it's it works in everyone's favour then, because then we've all got a bit of a platform.
Yeah, definitely.
But I've enjoyed this one. This didn't feel boring. I feel like time's passed really quickly as well.
But now it's 1 past midnight now.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think this is fun.
I've enjoyed this. I wouldn't mind doing it like this more often.
Yeah.
Anyone who's watching, wow. And
thank you for sticking with us for nearly 2.5 hours.
And I would like to know what you thought about this format. If you prefer the other one or like this one.
Yeah.
And
if you prefer more formal, more casual.
If you prefer the older one, like the previous few ones, then maybe we can find a way of integrating.
Or find a middle ground, something.
Yeah. But as far as I'm aware, I do find people just enjoy when conversations just happen.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a structure.
Well, it's a lot
and I'm one of those
totally
types
random,
of people
but watching Louis when there's just
Louis,
semi-structure and stuff.
To be fair, that's why I love watching Pretty Much It stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's, for the most part,
it's natural.
And then that's why they were like my favourite YouTube channel and like stuff like that. And I do like that and like, yeah. So yeah.
Yeah.
But Sophie, what's in the description?
Facebook page.
Yes.
Twitter handles.
It is.
Letterboxd.
Indeed.
Instagram.
Yes. Probably not time codes for this one.
We'll probably just put a bit of like content so you have an idea, but
yeah.
But it's not really a structure. This kind of just went as it was. So
this one might be best if you just want to have some in the background.
Yeah.
And have us just chit chatting. Yeah. Of course, the title's up above, so you know what we basically discussed. I'm going to have a basic brief of like what was discussed in this. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll leave a link down below for the also for season 2, episode 2 of VHS Pirates. Considering that was a big discussion point here as well.
Yeah, so that's an important.
So yeah, and yeah, I can't say really. Oh yeah, probably what will be uploaded next will be mine and Gary's review for The Dark Knight Rises. So keep an eye out for that one. And our last review in the Nolan review series before Dunkirk was Interstellar. Woo! It will be a re-review because me and Gary did do one in 2014, but
yeah, so it's like an updated review.
Yeah, but anyways, thank you for listening to this.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us for this long.
And until next time, guys, we shall see you later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Hello.
See you guys later. Enjoy VHS Pirates Season 2.
Just all of it.
Yeah.
Bye.